is The Monty Show, the truth in sports talk streaming. When you want unbiased opinions about your favorite team without the spin, all you have to do is find The Monty Show, streaming live and available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on YouTube. And now, here's Monty.
Hey, The Monty Show is live on your YouTube machine. How the heck are you? Hope you are fantastically well today. Yes, as always, we have a Michigan football cheating scandal update for you. I don't know if it is significant, an update on Jim Harbaugh's contract, but we have that for you as well. And as always on the Monty Show, we are presented by our good friends at The Advocates, theadvocates.com, the best injury attorneys in the business, where you never, ever pay a penny to talk to an injury attorney. And listen, if you've been in a car accident, did you get hurt at work? If you've been injured, it's not your fault you were in that accident. You didn't deserve that, but you certainly deserve an advocate at theadvocates.com. I think this Jim Harbaugh cheating story is a big, big deal. And Jake, I think when we look at the latest updates, and I think maybe the most significant one from on3sports.com today is that Jim Harbaugh's contract has not been pulled, the extension they offered him. In fact, it has been fast-tracked. We've done some work on the story. Our sources are telling us that Jim Harbaugh, in fact, is going to get a contract extension, but the language will look significantly different. And yeah, you guessed it. It is going to have voidable terms in it that are related to NCAA infractions and violations, morals clauses in there as well that I am told do not currently exist in his contract. I think this is a significant move by the University of Michigan because right now they can fire Jim Harbaugh for cause. There's no doubt about that. But do they have the detailed bullet points in his current deal to do so? It does not sound like they do. And this new contract extension that Harbaugh, I would think, would have before kickoff on Saturday will have that language in there. I think this is what Jim Harbaugh hinted at yesterday in his press conference, that using the terminology that the contract offer had been rescinded was not accurate. Note he did not refute that it has been changed significantly. Jake, I think it makes a lot of sense for the University of Michigan to protect itself.
Yeah, I think that Michigan has to give itself ways out and has to give itself the ability to control the situation better than they're controlling it now. And I think that's precisely Michigan's problem, is that you knew that Jim was someone who, has had his fair share of interesting situations, to put it lightly. And I think that, Jim is someone who, is kind of a red ass, and we all know his personality. And I think Michigan just needs to find a way to give themselves tools to rein him in. You can't have this guy representing your university and your institution in the way that he is. And I don't know if this is the path I would be taking, but clearly they love Jim Harbaugh. Clearly Jim Harbaugh is their guy, because in my opinion, you can't tell me there's not a single way out of Jim's contract. I'm guessing more of the issue is that there's not a way out of it without paying him to get out of it. And I think that's probably what they're not looking to do. They're not looking to have more bad PR on top of bad PR. And so I think it's a difficult spot to be in if you're Michigan. But I understand why they might want to do this. I get it. I don't love the idea that you're extending them, but that's a philosophical difference in their decision.
Yeah, and I think you have to protect your position here if you're Michigan. I just don't think there's any other way to go about this. I think there have been so many salacious details that have come out. Hell, throw out the sign stealing allegations in that investigation. The FBI has been on Michigan's campus for a month, 4 weeks now. We found out this week that the FBI has been on campus in Ann Arbor. That's a big deal. And they are investigating a former offensive coordinator and computer crimes, which allegedly had multiple victims across state lines. That's a big deal in and of itself. Then you have the level 1 violation against Jim Harbaugh with the NCAA Committee on Infractions. Level 2 violations relating to Jim Harbaugh's recruiting tactics and coaching hours and watching workouts over a Zoom call during the COVID dark period. all of these things on their own are a big deal that could potentially get a coach at a major university fired. But then you add in sign stealing. Then you put this whole case together and you have 3 investigations of significance going on at once at Michigan. And it's mind-numbing that Jim Harbaugh is going to get a significant raise to make him the highest paid head coach in the Big Ten. That I have a problem with, especially in the moment. And I don't think it's going to play well from a PR standpoint, because look where we are right now. You're at a point where tonight the College Football Playoff Committee is going to release their Week 1 rankings for the College Football Playoff. Is Michigan going to be in there? We're going to debate that coming up in about 10 minutes. I think there's a lot of validity to not have Michigan there. My thought is they probably will be there. I look at the situation around the Big Ten. You have massive expansion coming with power brands, right? So is it right now, when you have multiple scandals working at the same time under Jim Harbaugh, is now the time to make him the highest paid head coach in the league when he's got multiple years, 4 more years right now without an extension on the books at Michigan? It doesn't make a lot of sense, especially in our climate right now. I don't know. Michigan's going to Michigan. They're going to do what they think they need to do. And if they feel like they need to lock up and secure Jim Harbaugh for multiple years beyond these next 4, hey, let them do their thing. But the one thing that is clear here, this sign stealing, cheating scandal isn't going away, because we have new updates today related to Connor Stalions, the Michigan analyst that is at the center of this sign stealing scandal, if you will. I'd call it what you want. He was allegedly, because it has not been confirmed, he was on the sidelines at Central Michigan for their game against Michigan State. He was on the Central Michigan side of the field. He allegedly, if you believe the reports out there, was there to help Central Michigan beat Michigan State. He is in pictures. And Jake, before I show these pictures, do you think this is Connor Stalions?
Absolutely, 100%. No doubt about it. I think it looks just like him. I think that as you're about to see, one of these photos or one of the people in these photos looks nothing like the rest of the people. You know, there's only one person in these photos that, you know, somehow has a hat and sunglasses and has his arms folded and looks completely disengaged from what's going on. Like he stands out. Like when you look at the photo, a photo like this, right, on the right-hand side, right, Connor Stalions is clearly there and not coaching the team. He's clearly standing there observing. He noticed everybody else in the photo is like looking around. They're doing things. They seem in the moment. He's just there kind of like a statue. He stands out big time. That's
Connor Stalions allegedly on the right. And there's been a lot of conjecture about whether or not this is Connor Stalions. Well, if you look, here is the comparison side by side. My friends, that is Connor Stalions, in my opinion. And then you look at what the internet detectives have done. Well, of course, somebody went through the lengths to put the 2 pictures together. And my friends, that is Connor Stalions, in my opinion, in that picture. I don't know how you refute it anymore when you look at how closely it lines up. And I've seen all of the Michigan supporters saying, hey, that's another coach at Central Michigan. It's not, in my opinion. It's Connor Stalions. And the problem that this presents is that now you have Michigan football and the impact of their, which I don't think is in doubt anymore, the impact of their sign-stealing operation now trickling down to Central Michigan. And I'd also point out the athletic director at Central Michigan said, I know nothing about this. We're doing an investigation. Here's the problem with that answer. And I know a lot of people are like, well, you can't prove anything. Here's the problem. They already know, because you look at the picture of Connor Stalions on that sideline. Look at that credential. Far right side of the screen, sunglasses. It's a night game. Why are you wearing sunglasses? If you look at the right side, there's a credential there that says VB on it. That stands for Visitors Bench. The only people that get a VB credential are coaches and game day personnel. Trainers, doctors, coaches, interns, water boys, Those are the people. Do you understand how those VB credentials are handed out? Yeah, they're handed out with the authorization of the head coach and the athletic director. Full stop. That's it. Nobody else can make that list and authorize it. So they knew everybody on that list that was getting that. There's a big difference between a sideline credential and a VB credential. It allows you to be between those big, you'll notice on any football field, when you look at the bench area, there are big, fat, white lines that designate this is the bench area. Do not come in here. And the VB credential puts you in that desk, in that bench area, excuse me. One other thing I want to point out about this picture. You will notice who is in this picture. There are multiple coaches. The gentleman on the far left is the head coach. That is the offensive coordinator. And then you have allegedly Connor Stalions, who would be standing very close to the coordinator, telling him, hey, here are the defensive plays coming in from Michigan State, because Connor allegedly had known, and I say allegedly because Central Michigan hasn't confirmed that that's him, but I think they're on the clock. He knew the signals at Michigan State. He was helping Central Michigan. It didn't work. They got their ass kicked. I think it was 31-7 was the final score. But the very fact he could have used Michigan resources to steal the signs at Michigan State. And while an employee at University of Michigan football, he is in Central Michigan garb on their sideline around their coaches, allegedly passing signals to them. Man, it just doesn't get any worse than this. Every time I say that, and every time we deliver an update on this Michigan sign stealing scandal, what do we say? Man, it can't get any worse than this.
Yeah, and what is being in that position allow Connor Stalions to do? Well, obviously, if you're the guy stealing signs and deciphering signs and everything, number one, it allows you to use Central Michigan as your test bunny. You want to make sure that the read you have on Michigan State is correct, which obviously, you know, I would presume it would be.
Right.
And then, yeah, you want to see how that plays out. And then obviously you want to get another look. And that's why I say these guys are not good at cheating. I understand the strategy here, allegedly, out of Connor, because it hasn't been confirmed. So we have to say allegedly and pretend like it's not confirmed yet. Okay, cool. So allegedly, this guy's on the sideline. So my point is that, again, these guys aren't very good at cheating. Did you think you wouldn't get caught because you're standing there in a hat and sunglasses to disguise yourself and your arms are folded? Do you understand how much movement there is on a college football sideline? And if you're standing still, like you would actually quite literally stand out. That's what I don't understand about a guy who spends a ton of time on sidelines. That's what I don't get. Like, you stand out right there, dude. Like, we see you on the right. One is not like the other. One has a hat on, the rest of them don't. One has sunglasses on, the rest of them don't. And then most of them have headsets on, and one of them does not. Yeah. Like, he stands out. So, I don't know, man. I'll be very interested to see how this develops.
Is there any doubt in your mind that this is Connor Stalions?
I personally don't have a doubt that that's Connor Stalions.
So, in your opinion, absolutely that's him?
100%. Yep.
Yeah, I have very little doubt that is him. And it again, it's just my opinion. And I would love to get your opinion in the comments section. Do you think that this is Connor Stalions from Michigan, and you see him in the Michigan hat, and some dude standing on the sideline at Central Michigan who looks a hell of a lot like Connor Stalions?
And if it wasn't him, are you telling me that a coach is... So if that's not Connor Stalions, let's pretend it's not Connor Stalions.
How?
And that's a coach. Okay. What is the other thing you notice, right? The guy who's not Connor Stalions is wearing a credential, a VB credential, and the rest of them are not, right?
Yeah.
So you're telling me that a staffer or a coach or whatever position you would have just forgot to take their credential off?
Yeah, I'm not buying that.
You know what I mean? Like, there's so much about it that stands out as like he's out of place. And so that's why I personally, my opinion is that is absolutely Connor Stalions. But what's so mind-blowing to me about it is that this has now bled out of Michigan's program, right? Like we're not just talking about, hey, inside the framework and box of Michigan trying to get an advantage. Now we're talking about bleeding into other programs that are 1,000% below Michigan and, using them and leveraging them to try to gain your advantage as well. You didn't just go into the stands at all these games. Now we have you on the sideline.
Yeah, and I think one of the other interesting talking points is, well, hey, this shows you that Connor Stalions is a guy that's just out working for anybody who will pay him. And to that, I think you'd have a hard time proving that because he's on staff at Michigan. And he has relationships on that Central Michigan staff. So I think he's absolutely down to help his friends. And I think we've heard that he's been down to help his friends in the past. And this is a terrible look, man. This is a really, really bad look, and it just keeps compounding.
And don't forget the Michigan manifesto he wrote, right? I mean, this guy is not out just to get paid. This guy wanted to be the head coach of Michigan football.
The curator, the head coach, the architect of returning Michigan to greatness. I mean, it's remarkable. I don't know. A lot of me feels like, dude, I just don't understand. Is there so much glory in winning and having your legacy tainted that you don't care about the legacy tainted part? All you care about the winning part, because it doesn't appear to me the Big Ten's going to take action, because the Big Ten is well aware, and we have a lot of time before we have to do that. We have a lot of time before the season ends, before the college football playoff begins. And it seems like every day we get new details on this story. But are you really telling me that Michigan is not going to take any action against this Jim Harbaugh team? Man, I just cannot believe that. But giving him an extension now tells me you're not going to take action against him. And it's shocking to me. I don't understand it.
Yeah, I don't know what. Like, I'm trying to sit here and have been trying to sit here since we found this out and process, like, okay, what's the upside for Michigan outside of, hey, a new contract or an extension, allows us to put fresh verbiage in there to protect ourselves. But there has to be something in addition to that. There's got to be an additional angle that you're playing, and I don't know what that angle would be right now, but I can't believe that you're willing to take the discipline that inevitably is going to come from this, number one, but then number two, take the beating in the media over extending this guy. I mean, at a minimum, something's going on here now. I mean, I think we're way past saying nothing's happened here. I mean, there's just too much now to say, oh, yeah, well, media's just blowing this out of proportion.
Yeah, it's wild.
We're past that.
It's absolutely wild. Let's get your opinion on it on the Monty Show. As we do every day at this time, we remind you the comment section is presented by our good friends at BuckedUp Energy. Yes, we had a technical glitch. No, I did not put the link to the BuckedUp shots in there yesterday. My bad. Thank you, YouTube. My bad. The link for free buck shot, 6 of these free buck shots, is in the description below. Get on our YouTube channel. Get on, if you're listening on our audio podcast. Hello to everybody on Spotify. Our Spotify numbers have never been higher. Thank you so much for participating in the show on Apple, Google Play, iHeartMedia, Spotify. Thank you so much for supporting our show. Without you guys, we could not do what we do. That's why we give you free buckshot. Go get them right now. If you're somebody that takes any of the other energy shots that are provided, things like 5-Hour Energy, compare the ingredients. You're getting 200 milligrams of naturally sourced caffeine right here for your energetic pleasure in a bottle with a bunch of brain food. That's quite literally what you have. Notice what you don't have: a bunch of artificial flavors, a bunch of artificial colors, a bunch of sugar. You're getting elite ingredients that make an elite product that does exactly what it says it's going to do. We hit them every day on the show. And for the next 2.5 hours, we're going to finish strong. Cheers to you, friends. I love it. I'm all in on Blue Raz right now. I'm on a Blue Raz run. As you may know, I am a watermelon fan as well. You decide. Sampler pack, buckshot from BuckedUp. Get them in the description below. If you need supplements, I will also say thank you for everybody who shouted me out. I saw in the comment section talking about I look thinner. Yes, I look thinner because I am thinner and I've lost weight. And I can only do that with my friends at BuckedUp, whether it is their racked BCAAs that's got all the carnitine in it that helps you process fat better, helps you lose fat, helps you have more energy, whether it is the 6-point creatine, whether it is the whey protein isolate, the collagen peptides, the greens, you name it, we hit it. Their pre-workout, if you're a gym guy, I'm a 5 a.m. gym guy. The pre-workout from BuckedUp is the industry standard. It is award-winning. Go get it right now. Use the promo code Monty. Get 20% off at checkout at BuckedUp.com. Let's get into the comments section. Now, let's go all the way back to the top.
Yeah, back to the top.
I always am amazed who are the first. And, of course, it's Dakota Tubbs. The first one in today, Dakota Tubbs.
I'm for real.
Good to see you. Dibs gets the first like. The Buffalo Hunter. Good to see you. Jeff Woodworth says fifth, but like Ollie Gordon, the best. Exactly. Exactly. Big Blue Horses. Can we stop using the word bombshell? It's lost all meaning. Well, first of all, I don't think there's any doubt this is a bombshell.
Yeah.
That your one of your assistants is on the sideline wearing another school's colors, allegedly helping that team beat Michigan State, your in-state rival. Yeah, that's a bombshell. That's a bombshell. That Jim Harbaugh has 3 ongoing NCAA investigations and 1 with the FBI, and you're giving him an extension, that's a bombshell. I'm going to say that's not just, clickbait, which, yeah, we absolutely traffic and clickbait because, well, we want people to click on our thumbnails and on stuff, YouTube. That's what we do. Right. But I think it's remarkable they're giving him a contract. Yeah. I truly do. Tanner Plummer, what's up? Coach Stalions doesn't really have a good ring to it. No, it doesn't. No, it does not. Mike Smith, Connor Stalions, professional sign-stealing mercenary.
Yeah, man.
Apparently.
He's an assassin.
Johnny Gonzalez. What's up, Johnny? Michigan Manifesto is the name of Harbaugh's memoirs,
right?
Which he'll have plenty of time to write because I still don't think he survives this. Can he survive this?
I don't see any way. I mean, the only path to survival is just taking it on the chin. Like, hey, this is what you guys did. This is the discipline, and whether that suspension is a year or whatever, I don't know what that looks like yet, obviously. Whew. But you just take the discipline on the chin and you move forward. And that's just what it is. Now, the program, I have to believe, would take an absolute beating because if he's suspended, why would you want to go and play there? If you're going to have to play at Michigan, you can play at other places.
You will have to resign yourself from postseason play this year. If that is Connor Stalions helping another team beat your in-state rival, you're going to have – I mean, there's no way you can participate. There's just no way. Outside the echo chamber, pretty sure BYU and Utah do all of this to each other. Pretty sure they don't. And I can say pretty sure because there's no FBI investigation into computer crimes at BYU or Utah.
Seriously.
I mean, I know I'm out on a limb. Buckeye Bob. Boy, every day is a good day for Buckeye Bob right now. If that's Stalions, it's over. Totally agree. Michigan will have to forfeit games and be DQ'd. I mean, and what happens to Central Michigan? How do you justify allowing Connor Stalions on your sideline? He's not an employee of yours, yet he's in coaching gear. And what exactly was he doing there? A coach is going to lose his job over that because you're going to have approved him. He did everything in his own name. Venmo, bought tickets, everything in his own name. So are you really telling me all of a sudden there's a John Doe on the VB list? Come on.
It's incredible how much lack of, they're just not intimidated by the NCAA. At all. They don't care.
They don't care at all. B says, and he's wearing a visitor's badge. Well, what that VB means is visitor's bench, which is the most exclusive credential you can get. Because, again, it's only for game day personnel. That's it. It is not for media. It is not for boosters. It is not for donors. They get sideline passes. This is not a sideline pass. This is a pass to get you into the area of the visitor's bench.
Yeah, I mean, it's damning. I mean, the way that, the photo is really interesting because the longer you look at it, the more stuff you realize. And And him having his arms crossed like that, and then the VB being right under his arms, he's like covering half the credential
Dude.
except the part that matters most, is just an
That's
incredible turn of events.
Yeah, that's absolutely rough. Dav DeBoss. Okay. I just went to CM website. No coaching staff look like that guy. Oops, busted. Well, there was this big argument that there was a coach on their coaching roster at Central Michigan who was that guy. And so everybody was scrubbing video of that game, and they found him, and he was completely shaved. He had no facial hair. Could not have been that guy. And that guy is significantly, dare I say, thicker than Connor Stalions.
He's big bone.
Right? It looks nothing like him.
Yeah.
And I'll just keep playing this video that internet sleuths put together. Man, I don't know how
Look at that.
It goes together perfectly. It goes together perfectly. And yeah, he's a mouth breather. I saw that all over Twitter today. But it's these two pictures you just watched combined. Like it is, I mean, my guy, you're exactly the same dude. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I cannot believe the just don't care attitude that this dude had standing on other people's sidelines.
Yeah, I mean, it's truly
remarkable.
It is, when football coaches always say, hey, my team is going to embody my personality and they're going to embody the way I go about running a program. It's Jim Harbaugh's brazenness bleeding through his program, literally. Like, you have this staffer, Connor Stalions, operating the same way with the same philosophies that Jim would operate with. So that's why, to me, this has always made so much sense, because Jim's always been that guy. Jim's always been the one that hasn't really cared as much and is willing to break the recruiting rules in the dark period, allegedly, and do all that. Like, dude, at some point, you got to care.
Well, several people are texting me saying that Central Michigan does not have Connor Stalions on their list that day.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that means or how much credibility is there. I have not seen that report, but a bunch of people are texting me. So I'm assuming that there is some credibility in that. I would get, I don't, how do you prove that? I mean, first of all, can Central Michigan come out and say, yeah, sure enough, bro, that was Connor Stalions? They're not going to come out and say that. They're not going to do that because they cannot.
Yeah.
There is no way that Central Michigan can come out and say, oh yeah, that was him. He was on our sidelines. Everybody's fired. Like, are you kidding me? They're not going to be able to do that. So I'm curious. Oh my goodness. Now, 3 minutes ago, The Athletic has attained more photos of the goateed sunglasses person on Central Michigan's sideline. Oh my goodness.
Come on, guy.
I mean, this looks almost these pictures, and I'm going to grab them real quick. These pictures look very similar. And now, I mean, it's even similar mannerisms to the way that he was acting at Michigan. I mean, this is wild to me.
I think the thing that's so crazy is like this thing you just said about he's not on the list allegedly for that day, for the visitors bench credential list. So to me, that says, and again, my opinion, that's him in the pictures. You're about to see better pictures. I think it just solidifies that. But to me, that says a couple of things. Number one, look at that. Look at him.
That looks like him.
That looks like him, man. And to me, if he's not on the list, but he had this kind of access, what does that say? Well, that says to me that somebody knew somebody who had enough power to get him one of those credentials without him being on the list. And anybody in the sports world knows that game goes on. It goes on. People get credentials and they're not on the list. It's all about who you know. So to me, that's a total possibility.
I am sure that if this is in fact Stalions, I mean, look at the hand on the chin and everything. Like it's awfully difficult when you go back and look at the pictures of him at Michigan, and you look at the way that he conducts himself. bro, like it is really hard to believe if you look at that picture that's not Connor Stalions.
I think you're exactly right. The mannerisms match, and I think what's tough is like, to me when I first looked at these pictures and I was like, all right, let me give this a real honest like attempt to debunk that this is actually him. The thing that I struggle with is the jawline and the way his ears pop out, right? Because his ears are not real flat to his head.
You guys want to know where we are in the Connor Stalions situation? People analyzed the shape and diameter and dimension of his ears and found that it was a match. So that's where we are with this cat, where we're like, what are we? I mean, come on. What
and
are
the
we
questions
doing?
that come to mind when I think about Central Michigan's role in this is like, all right, what kind of deal did Central Michigan have with Michigan and Jim? Like, was it, hey, we're just going to help you and get a big win and probably the game of your season against Michigan State, or one of the games of your season at a minimum? With that, we're gonna send Connor. It helps us. It helps you. Everyone wins. I mean, is that what we did? Did we just do a handshake deal? I mean, certainly nothing's on paper, but you kind of get what I'm saying. Like, was it that? Was it friendly on all sides, or did Michigan go in there, strong arm them with something, and say, hey, we're doing this whether you like it or not? I don't know. But what I struggle with is, even if Central Michigan did beat Michigan State, which they didn't, and it wasn't close.
Which they did not.
But let's say that they had. What then was the reward for Central Michigan? Because it's not like that win gets you anything. I mean, honestly, like, what were you trying to do here?
I really don't know. And the funny thing is I'm grabbing a bunch of pictures if you guys are, and here is this photo, right? That is Connor Stalions, or the alleged Connor Stalions, on the sideline at Central Michigan. And you look at him here, like, I mean, it looks just like him. And if that's not him, tell me it's not a doppelganger, right? If that's not him, bro, are you telling me this is not the same guy? Like, I just have real trouble believing that, and you look at these pictures again, just look at the way he's standing in some of these Michigan pictures. Like, he's got his arms crossed, right? And you look at this picture here, the guy's standing with his arms like almost the exact same way. Notice that his left arm, right? His left arm is under his right arm. You guys, this is no longer, dude, these new pictures of him on the sideline are not a good look for Connor Stalions. This is bad news. This is very, very bad news. And
I don't think
it just keeps getting deeper.
Can you think of a time when a college football playoff caliber football team is allegedly colluding with a lower end team like Central Michigan? I mean, I can't think of another time when something even in the same atmosphere, even in the same galaxy, even has happened here. Because
I can't think of a time.
This is I'm still baffled by it. If I'm Central Michigan and Michigan comes to me and says, "Hey, we'd like to put this guy on the sideline, on your bench specifically in your coach's gear," what are you saying if you're Central Michigan? Because I'm just sitting here wondering, like, what would Michigan had to have done?
What's the win?
Like, how do you make this happen if you're Michigan? Because Central Michigan is essentially just playing to get to bowl games every year, because that's what you want to do at that level. You want to get to your bowl game. You want to make that money and roll it over again. That's all you're trying to do. You're not trying to win a national championship. And so there's really no advantage to having Connor on your sideline, especially against Michigan State, who clearly is a better team than you are. So looking at these photos, he's right in the middle of all your stuff, allegedly. So my question is, was there payment involved? What was the win for Central Michigan?
Look at the way he holds himself. Look at, like the pictures of him at Michigan. Look at what he's holding in his hand. He's holding white cardstock. He's holding, you can see in this one here on the left, that's him with his hand behind his head there. And what do you notice? He's got a blue card. What do you know? Or a laminated card. What do you notice here? Like he's got paper stock, like he's got his notes. He's holding a clipboard. That's not the gear of a coach who's holding a clipboard. It truly is not. And again, you look at the way he's got his arms crossed.
Right?
I don't know. Maybe I'm making too much out of this, but it's awfully difficult. It's a doppelganger situation. If you're going to tell me, like, if you look at some of the pictures that are coming out of this alleged character, like this, I'm dumbfounded by this.
It's
You guys,
incredible.
look at how close this picture that I'm going to show you here. Like you see Connor Stalions, Michigan on the right, not Connor Stalions, Central Michigan on the left. Look at this dude, arms crossed again.
Look at what's in his hand, just like you said.
A clipboard and a marker again. And you just start to understand that this is how this dude does business. The same gear is in his hand. Like I'm sorry. It's my opinion. I'm
right?
not saying that there's fact on this. Dudes, this guy, he is him. That's him.
Yes, bro.
That is Himmy Stallions.
Yeah.
In my opinion, like, are you serious with this evidence? Like, how are we even, like, I just keep hitting refresh on Google searches. How are we even questioning this now? I really don't know.
Well, my only question is, how deep does the rabbit hole go? That's why this is taking time. Dude, we've graduated. That's why this is a bombshell, with all due respect to whoever that was. That's why this is a bombshell. We've graduated to a new level in the game today.
It's amazing.
Which is, hey, we're now involving another program who is scheming with us. There's no way to deny that, if that is proven to be him, which I just don't know how. Look at that.
Look at this picture.
Look at in this picture right here. What I want you guys to notice, I know it's a small detail. Look at how grown in the facial hair is, right? Then you go over to one of the Central Michigan photos and you notice, hey, he's really grown in there, right? On the goatee.
Yeah.
It's really grown in. Look at that.
Yeah.
Tell me
don't.
That's not him. Come on.
I don't know. The only thing I question is Connor Stalions of late has been a bald-headed dude. And in these pictures on the sideline, you can see in the top left, he's got hair. That's the only argument. But, bro, you look at this picture. Look at this picture right here. He's holding the exact same stuff.
And you know what I would say to that? You know what I'd say to that? This. Dude, if you're Connor Stalions, are you not trying to change your appearance right now? Are you not trying to, like, grow your hair out and look different and like
oh my god,
dude, like
these
you're
new
making
pictures.
Changes.
These new pictures are damning. Holy cow! I mean, it is
truly something we've never seen before.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like this.
I'm still the biggest thing here. I'm not, to be honest with you, I'm not surprised as much that we would catch him on a sideline as I'm surprised that another program would get involved in this thinking they weren't going to get caught. Like, again, what's the sales package? Hey, Central Michigan, we need to put our guy on your sideline, and he needs to be in full coach's gear, and he needs to blend in. Okay,
it's remarkable.
What do we get? Well, you get a win over Michigan State because he's got Michigan State signals. Or, hey, you get X amount of money because that's the only other thing I could think of. Central Michigan could use the money, right? You're a smaller end program, not a bad program, just a smaller end program, and an additional $3 million, let's say. Let's just call it a couple mil. Scratch off a couple mil out of that budget Jim's got. Great. Come on, man. Come on.
Like it is. I mean, it is. As we flip through these photos, I mean, it's very difficult to deny. And I hope it's not, honestly, you guys, and I don't root one way or the other 9 days out of 10. I hope this is not Connor Stalions, because this is a different kind of Jim Harbaugh, because Connor Stalions is not going to risk his career at Michigan to go to another university. And like, it makes you wonder, hey, did Connor have somebody in the stands that day? And he was just, apparently it was an off day. Like, are you, I don't know, man. This is a really bad look. This is a really bad look because this guy, Connor Stalions, I mean, I want somebody to look at me the way Connor Stalions looks at Jim Harbaugh. I do. I don't know, man. Come on. This is too much now. And I know, like you said, this is a bombshell.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're pissed. You're clickbaiting. Damn right. This is a game changer. This is absolutely game changer. All right, let's get your comments in here. Ryan Willie, in my opinion, the University of Michigan thinks it's untouchable. I agree. Absolutely right. Harry Austin, come on, Monty. You know why he wears sunglasses at night. Corey Hart has a classic song. Do 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 do. Do you know that song?
Yes.
I wear my sunglasses at night so I can.
Yes, iconic.
So I can. Whatever.
Gosh, and now we can't play it because Fox is copywriting it, but there's video of him going around Twitter now too.
Oh yeah, it's everywhere. Good,
dude.
Corey Hart reference there, Harry. Harry, every day that you're here, you're much more my Jim Harbaugh, and I'm not going to say it. I'm your Connor Stalions, Harry. That's a good poll, Corey Hart. That's Clark Kent, not Connor. Oh,
okay.
Oh, okay. I get it. Shaner, 69.420% Connor Stalions. I'm with you. I'm not quite at 70, but 69.4. I could be bought though. Apparently, so can Connor Stalions.
Apparently,
Hero 75 for $5. Does the field pass change all that much from year to year or game to game? Couldn't Stalions have used an old badge? It changes every year. It changes every year.
They rebrand them. The colors change. Like it changes.
That's mandatory usually through your conference, because the conference is the one that controls game day access. They basically are going to tell you, hey, here are the criteria. These people get this credential. And then you're kicking that down the campus police, security, your security firm, however your ushers are handled. Yeah, it's not a small endeavor. Ryan Willie, the Big Ten has always sat on their hands with scandals.
Well, that's just facts. I mean,
there's a lot of unanswered questions in the Big Ten scandal world. So I can't say I disagree with you on that, Ryan. Eric says, seriously, Urban Meyer to Michigan State isn't a story for you guys? Come on. Urban Meyer's not going to Michigan State. Come on. And I saw that. Man, so many people are like, this Connor Stalions thing is, I don't usually get, I mean, I'm not saying I don't, but I don't usually get 100 DMs in a day. But this is remarkable. And again, I want to make sure people know this. Central Michigan is investigating this, but they're saying that this is not Connor Stalions. Or at least I shouldn't say that. They're saying he's not on the pass list that day. Which
could be them denying it, or it could be them saying, hey, this goes a lot deeper than we even knew about.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That is, if that's not him, the problem is if it is him, a bunch of people are getting fired at Central Michigan.
Yeah.
Because there's no way to get around that.
Not everybody can get an extension when there's 3, investigations happening.
Yeah, it's big time. It truly is. And I think when you make the money they make in college football, it's a lot of bread to lose a gig like this. And the only place you're going to make that is trydaytrading.com/Monty. So you might want to get into the 30-day trial membership, Harbaugh, right now at trydaytrading.com/Monty. Do you guys know what day trading is? It is a way to get out of your job. Every morning, I know that there's listeners, because I hear from you guys, that say, is this legit at Tri-Day Trading? Because I hate my boss. I'm tired of my boss. It pisses me off. I have to go back to the office. I hate my commute. Jake and I texting this morning. I live 10 minutes from my studio. It took me 25 minutes to get to the office today. There's a lot of people who can't stand their commutes, right? TryDayTrading.com/Monty. That's how you get out of your commute. Because see, what you're going to understand is when you day trade full time, you'll make $1,000 a day or more on average. And what I mean by that is when it's your only gig, because day trading in the morning takes you 90 minutes. In the evening, it takes you 90 minutes. program your trades, and walk away. But I can tell you, my wife is in the TryDayTrading.com program. It is thrilling. It's exciting. It makes your heart race. You're watching your money grow. It is really spectacular. And the best part about the TryDay Trading $10 30-day trial membership is that when you get into that program, day one, you're trading. They're putting you into the system. They're getting you the software. They assign you a trading coach. They're telling you, hey, here are the indicators we're looking for. This is our process. This is how we trade. Here's an account so that you can trade offline, where you're watching the markets in real time and you're trading, and you're learning to trade by trading. That's the best part. The second best part, when you graduate the TryDay program, they fund a trading account for you with their own money. And you start trading with their money. Your first trades are not with your money. It's with TryDay's money. And when you're ready to trade your money, you walk away from it and you start trading your own money. Is that a day, a month? Maybe it's 5 years. You can stay in their program as long as you want. And when you're ready and you're comfortable, have at it. Now, you're going to get up to 80% of the profit when you trade with their money. Maybe you want that hundo P right out the door. It's fit into your life and into your financial situation. But think about that. If I said to you, you can make $240,000 a year, is that a raise for you? Is that more money? Is that less money? Is that Disney vacations? Is that the house you've always dreamed of? Is that the car you've always dreamed of? Maybe that's just paying your house off quicker or your car loans off quicker. Maybe you're tired of student loan debt. Maybe you're tired of credit card debt. TryDayTrading.com/Monty. Hook it up. A $10 charitable donation gets you a 30-day trial membership at TryDayTrading.com. Aaron Wilson. Hello, sir.
Let's go, baby.
Thank you, Aaron. Gifting a membership to the Showroom. Appreciate that. For $9.99 a month, you guys get into our exclusive members-only Instagram group. What a group of dudes. And it's going to qualify you for our Raider giveaway for a trip for two for the weekend in Las Vegas, December 9th and 10th. Details on that coming up as well. And Donuts, my man, how are you? Is Connor available? Signed Oklahoma. Seriously. Johnny Gonzalez. Whitey Bulger is the new coach at CMU. We've gone full mobster. Aaron Wilson, I'm starting TryDay Trading soon. It's $10.
It's awesome, man.
You guys, and I kid you not, a lot of people say, well, I'll start it next month. It's $10 for a charity donation. By the time next month gets here, you could be out of the trial membership already. Like, go get it. You can start now, you can start in a month, but again, every day you wait is money you're not making. TryDayTrading.com/Monty. Mark Franklin. Would have been the day before Michigan's first game of the season. Would have been. Correct. It was an off day for Michigan. I'm just really, and here's the thing though, and this is what I was talking about, I think, last week. If Connor Stalions is this valuable football analyst, and everybody says he's an invaluable member of Harbaugh's staff, how is he not on campus in the football office before your season kicks off? You really let him go to Central Michigan? Like, Jim Harbaugh had to know about this. There's no way now to get out of the fact that he didn't know about this. That's the hardest part of this whole Michigan thing, is that I understand they're going to give him a contract extension. Okay, I'm fine with that. But you better have bulletproof language in there that says if we have 3 ongoing investigations, including the FBI on campus for a month investigating one of your coaches, yeah, we're going to have to let you go. Are we really having the conversation about the merits of keeping or firing Jim Harbaugh? Who is the other coach, and at what other school would this cat still have his job? Because I don't think there's very many. I do not. He has been found responsible for level 1 violations at Michigan. He has been found responsible for level 2 violations at Michigan, to which he took a 3-game rip, self-imposed, to start this season. So it's not a question of has Jim Harbaugh broken rules. He admits he did it. He admits that he overworked coaches. He admits that he watched workouts over Zoom. He admits he met with kids during the COVID dark period. He admits that. He is going to admit, because they're coming for that Harbaugh ass on the fact that he did not cooperate on the investigation, which is a level 1 violation. Like, it's not a question of did Jim Harbaugh break rules. That's not the question. And it is remarkable to me that we're talking about Jim Harbaugh getting a contract extension. And when you hear him, and I think it's only fair, we played it yesterday, let's play it again today, Jim Harbaugh talking about his contract.
Jim, there was a report last night that you had a contract offer rescinded. Can you say if that's accurate or not?
I wouldn't say that's accurate, no. And the university has a policy. I think they made a statement, right, Dave?
Yes.
Of the policy on contracts and publicly talking about it.
Hey, Jim Harbaugh right there. Jim has already hit the like button. Why haven't you hit the like button on this show as we talk about the latest details on the Michigan cheating scandal? And at 10 to the hour, every hour on the Monty Show, it's Football at 50 with the biggest stories in college and NFL football. Speaking of college football, one of the things that I think is so interesting is this Deion Sanders situation at UCLA. Did you guys hear about this? Let's lead Football at 50 with it, presented by our good friends at The Best, depending on who you ask. Daily fantasy outlet, prizepicks.com. Make sure you get in the description below. Click the link. Jake's broke on Prize Picks. He's got to make a deposit
It's
tonight.
been a rough month. What can I say?
Oh, not for me. Some of us actually win money on Prize Picks, and a lot of it, I've had a great month on Prize Picks. Go and get 100% deposit matching. When you use the promo code Monty, they'll give you 100% match on your deposit up to $100 at prizepicks.com. Deion Sanders says his players were ripped off at UCLA, and he wants Granddaddy to cough up the cash.
All that stuff should be replaced. This is the Rose Bowl. They said the granddaddy of them all, right? I'm sure Granddaddy has some money. Grandpa should have some money to get these kids.
Granddaddy's got that bread.
And I can't disagree.
But should UCLA and the Rose Bowl pay for the stolen items out of the Colorado locker room?
Well, so here's the deal. It's not just Colorado's locker room. It was theirs, and allegedly, according to Deion, UCLA's locker room as well. Allegedly. That's what Deion said. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but yeah, I mean, I think that there has to be some type of responsibility. I'm not saying that the NCAA's got to roll up with, replacement items, but I do think that there's some liability. And hey, our locker rooms got robbed while we were out on the field giving you TV ratings and you were getting paid. So my opinion is, there should be some, hey, let's do as much as we can do to bring Colorado and allegedly UCLA, proper and full. I do think that there should be some of that. Yeah,
I do as well. And it just reading the tea leaves, I think there's going to be something. Because again, I mean, Deion in Colorado versus UCLA had huge TV ratings. And it's to me, it's pretty cut and dry. You're going to have to do something. Speaking of huge TV ratings, did you guys see, apparently, and I could be wrong, Pat McAfee is booming on College Game Day. Now, this has been, in my opinion, and I don't know if you agree, Jake, but I think Pat McAfee has been one of the most controversial figures in college football this year. Things he said, for instance, Washington State, get the hell out of here, or whatever he said about, how they don't belong or deserve whatever. He's pissed a bunch of people off. And people were like, oh, he's the reason David Pollock's not here, and I'm boycotting. Yeah, well, it turns out it doesn't matter if you boycott, because the ratings at College Game Day have exploded. They're up huge, dude. Look at that, 2,034,000 viewers. They're up 12% year over year. The final hour, 2.7 million viewers. This was a huge week. Their ratings are huge on College Game Day. Can you say any more that Pat McAfee's been bad for College Game Day?
I don't think you can say he's been bad for College Game Day. I think what you can say is Pat McAfee is ESPN's Dark Knight, if you will. The guy that's going to take a beating for the things he says, because he does say dumb things sometimes. There's no question about it. He does lack a little bit of professionalism, in my opinion, given the position that he's in. But that's how he chooses to go about it. But you know what it is? Pat doesn't care what anyone says about him. Truly, I honest to God think he does not care what anyone has to say about what he does, or his impact on College Game Day. And so because of that, ESPN is seeing crazy numbers on game day. So as long as that continues to persist, he is going to be on game day. And as long as that continues to persist, the David Pollock stuff can just be put to bed because they're not going to bring him back. They're not going to fix something that's not broken now. And that's, understandably for David Pollock guy, that's tough. You know, if you love David Pollock, and I did like David a lot, that's tough. If you want him back, I just don't think that that's going to happen anytime soon.
Well, and I think you can not like Pat McAfee, but you can't argue anymore that Pat has not been a great business decision for ESPN because he is everywhere. There is a Dan Lanning video, a hype video post-game of the Utah win. It's on Jake's Twitter feed, SLC Jake on Twitter. SLC Jake on Twitter. Who's in the middle of that video? Oh, an Oregon football hype video. Who's in the middle of it? Pat McAfee. If you go watch any college football and any NFL trade video on ESPN.com, who's in the middle of it? Pat McAfee. If you watch promos on ESPN during the NBA games the other night, they were promoting Pat McAfee.
NHL games.
Pat McAfee. Everywhere, dude. And so you don't have to like Pat. I personally am a huge fan of the Pat McAfee show. But he's made them a ton of money. There's just no way around that. His show is now presented by Verizon. The ratings are massive. His ratings on College Game Day are massive. It's inarguable is the word I'm looking for. He's been very good for business. And I think it is, I know that Pat is controversial. I know he's a hot button issue, but he's the guy, dude. He is the guy. Big Daddy Magic says, I spent 23 minutes talking to Pat. You didn't even get a video of him. Big Daddy Magic, for those of you who are new to the show and don't know, Big Daddy Magic is the official Monty Show ambassador, right?
Yeah.
He is, I believe, and I could be wrong, Big Daddy Magic, you need to correct me. I believe that you are the unofficial spouse of Victor Wembanyama.
Victor's the way.
He certainly is. Well, no, actually, I got that wrong. I think Victor has a restraining order against you for stalking.
Boom. Out of here.
I can't remember which one. Anyway, you're deeply and passionately in love with Victor Wembanyama and French fries. But my point is that my guy, Big Daddy Magic, is the official Monty Show ambassador, and you don't even get a video of Pat McAfee shouting out the Monty Show.
Yeah, you know what the problem was? He got a video with Pat, had nothing to do with the Monty Show.
Like, what kind of ambassador are you, sir?
Come on, dude. How do you not get Pat saying something about us?
Magic, we are going to need you to step up.
Yeah.
Because I will go and get Nikki Haley to replace you as ambassador. Probably too much. Nobody knows that reference.
Filling in for somebody.
Nobody. The Buffalo Hunter, Pat picking OOTAW to win on game day had me hyped. Then Bo Nix crushed my dreams.
And that's in the video. That's in the video.
That you picked Utah. That's what I said the other day. I think I said the other day, at least in our pre-show meeting, I was never going to say Utah again. It's much like that basketball player from BYU whose name shall not be named on this show.
He who shall not be named.
Shame.
Yeah.
That I need that drop. Anytime you say that name of that particular individual at BYU, it brings great shame to the program.
Mm-hmm.
And now that you got your ass whooped by Oregon, I can no longer say OOTAW.
Shame.
Can't do it. Can't that. Journeyman, once again, everybody needs to calm down about Michigan. It's going to take several years. It's not going to take several years. They are, trust me when I say, they're out for Jim Harbaugh.
Mm-hmm.
The NCAA Committee on Infractions is out for Jim Harbaugh. Let's not get this twisted. They said, 4 games? You want to take a 4-game suspension, Jim, to make this COVID dark period thing go away? Why don't you go ahead and forget that because it's not nearly enough. We're going to punish you for this after the season. And they will. And here's the other part that I think Michiganians need to kind of embrace. You're not going to give me, okay. Anyway, Michiganders.
Michiganians.
Michigan, Door County.
Yeah.
That's Wisconsin, not Michigan. Anyway, the point is, listen, I could be wrong. I don't know what I'm talking about. My point is, if you don't fire Jim Harbaugh, if you don't punish Jim Harbaugh, and if you don't cooperate with an investigation, it's not going to be Jim Harbaugh's ass. It's going to be you, Michigan. They're coming for you. You are in the crosshairs. Do you really think Tony Petitti is going to stand by and watch this happen? Oh, he's going to until Michigan either wins or gets knocked out of the college football playoff.
It's a defense.
But do you really think we're going to get through the summer without the Big Ten doing something of some sort?
No.
Because this evidence is not going to stop coming out. It's every day that evidence against Jim Harbaugh is being leaked to the media. Where do you think this Central Michigan thing came from?
Seriously.
Do you really? And Jake and I were debating this in the pre-show, the vaunted, very
Behind
secretive,
the scenes,
lockdown pre-show meeting. Do you have any? Where do you think this Central Michigan pictures came from?
Oh, that's right. Someone caught on who wasn't a part of the scheme and said, "Hey, our school is about to get burned to the ground because they're already on the Connor's trail, and maybe we should get out in front of it."
I think what happened was somebody was like, "Oh yeah." He was on our sideline for the Michigan State game. And I think somebody at Central Michigan probably doesn't like Michigan, probably doesn't like Stalions, definitely doesn't like Jim Harbaugh, who pretty much isn't liked by anybody. I think this was, again, oh yeah, boy, that guy was on our sidelines for the Michigan State game. Wonder what the Detroit Free Press or the Athletic or Pete Thamel or any of these big national guys like the Monty Show would think.
Hey, Monty.
Hey, Monty. I think that's what happened.
Yeah. Hey, maybe that's what happened. I one way or the other, it's going to be your ass because you cannot have this going on in college football. And I maintain this goes all the way up to the NCAA because the NCAA, how do you think these guys are getting paid? Oh, that's right. On the integrity of the game, right? If there's questions about, hey, was this game fixed or did Michigan have an advantage through sign stealing or whatever the case may be? Do you know how many different ways that hurts you as a business?
Oh my God.
The NCAA cannot have this. And that's why I say this won't take years. They will not be eligible for the college football playoff. Maybe not. Maybe they'll be in the rankings tonight. I don't know. But at some point, they will be ineligible. And I have to think that won't take too long.
Yeah, I don't think it'll take long at all. Michael Jarrett, oh my God. Did we just get that team down south reference?
What?
How is TTUN, that team up north? Welcome in an Ohio State Buckeye fan to the program. Let's go. Let's go. Hell yeah. How is that team up north allowed to get away with this when Tattoo Gate is nothing compared to this?
Tattoo Gate.
That is free tattoos for Ohio State players. Also, watching Corrupt Jim, he skates away from all his questions and everything now with a babysitter news guy. I got to say, my guy, Michael Jarrett, one of the greatest comments ever in the history
that was well done, sir.
of the Showgram.
Great work.
That team up north is getting away with it for now. And I think a lot of Michiganders are like, are we going Michiganders or Michigonians?
Michigonians.
All right, Michiganders it is. I think it's very interesting that Michiganders are like, oh, we're in the free, giving them an extension. I saw a guy today I was tweeting with who was like, we're going to have the leader we need at Michigan. Nothing else matters. And I ask Michiganders, the Michigan Wolverines. I ask you, friends, how many times, not if, but how many times has Bo Schembechler rolled over in his grave over this? How many times are we going to have to say, oh, well, tattoos, there should be a death penalty for Terrell Pryor, Maurice Claret. Oh! That's because that's what Michiganders were saying. Oh, my God, free tattoos. Dude, this is a scandal of epic proportions. No more Buckeyes. Screw them. Joe Paterno has nothing on free tattoos. Right? Because that was the reaction. It was the end of the world.
Well, that's what Michigan fan does, right? And this is what I think is throughout the program. It's pervasive.
So if tattoos were the end of the world, like are the aliens coming up through the core of the earth over Zoom calls where you watch workouts and where you met with kids during COVID dark period and you overworked your coaches and
the coronavirus.
The NCAA said, hell no, bro, 4 games isn't enough. We're coming for you.
Mm-hmm.
And then the FBI was like, well, Jimmy, we need to talk. So they hung out in Ann Arbor for a month, which nobody in their right mind would do if they weren't there for work. Right?
You're not wrong.
Right? So if that wasn't enough, that's okay. Level 1 violations, level 2 violations. The FBI. Oh, and now we're allegedly, it's not really so much anymore, stealing signs.
Yeah, we're not making any changes.
And you guys want to talk about tattoos? And you guys want to talk about wrestling and Jim Jordan? And you guys want to talk about
Jim Jordan,
Steve Tressel? And you got like Jim Tressel, rather. And you guys want to get Pervin Meyer? Well, at least Pervin Meyer won. Jim Harbaugh hasn't won a damn thing.
Yeah.
At least Pervin Meyer showed up at Ohio State and was like, what do you mean we only recruit the Midwest? Have you guys ever heard of Florida? Like, at least he showed up and was like, we're going to conquer the world. Jim's like, man, I can't wait to kick the crap out of Mel Tucker. He got fired, Jim. Man, I can't wait to, well, we're never beating Ohio State. Well, Coach, actually, I have an idea.
I mean, that's what this seems like, man.
That's exactly what this seems like. And we want to make a big deal out of it.
Schemers trying to control their little worlds.
Get out of here. Steve Bedazzle says, Michigeezes. Okay. Steve also, or Stu, excuse me. Stu. TCUN, those cheaters up north.
There you go. There you go.
Oh, man,
nice
I'm
job,
telling
dude.
you. Ohio State fans are loving this. Boyd Lake, the Ohio State fan. They do let Jim off easy when he sidesteps their questions. At least they're asking him questions. But I think you have to go back. At some point, somebody is going to because guys like Pete Thamel aren't going to do that. Like national guys are not going to go to Ann Arbor because, again, why would you? You're not going to go to Ann Arbor and press Jim Harbaugh with questions. One, he's not going to answer them, and two, it's going to probably ruin some relationships.
Yeah.
But do you really think Jim Harbaugh is going to sit down with ESPN and be like, all right, time to tell the truth?
Michigan exclusive. Jim comes clean.
Jim's never going to come clean. But, hey, what he does behind closed doors is up to him. My point is, I don't think he ever sits down for a one-on-one because when have you seen him do that? Even before we knew he was a rat cheater.
Yeah, I'm not talking about that.
Allegedly. I do say I wish Marcus Freeman had a little bit of Jim Harbaugh in him.
Yeah.
I'd take a little Jim Harbaugh, dog, and
I don't break the rules.
Marcus Freeman.
Because it's illegal.
Because last time I checked, Jim Harbaugh can count to 11. Marcus Freeman cannot. Okay. OG Gary won't listen to anything from people who live in Columbus. Okay. Gary Wolf, Connor was General Custer's chief scout. Okay. Stu, well, Bo Schembechler kept a molester doctor on staff for like 20 years. Okay.
Oh, what are you talking about, man?
He had no knowledge of the previous actions.
Yeah, Jim has no knowledge of sign stealing. It's cool.
That's how it works at Michigan.
Yeah, just let him off.
Speaking of Bo Nix crushing my dreams, welcome to the chat, Buckeyes, says the Buffalo Hunter. Yeah, how about Bo Nix? College football playoff rankings are out tonight. And I am curious here on the Monty Show, which as always is presented by our good friends at The Advocates, theadvocates.com. The best injury attorneys in the business. If you got hurt at work, if you've been in a car accident, you didn't deserve to get in an accident. You shouldn't be scratching some huge check for somebody to help you out of it. At The Advocates, you never reach in your pocket. There's no consultation fee. There's no retainer. No, friends, you never pay The Advocates unless and until they win your case at theadvocates.com. Chat with an attorney right now today, live online. The college football playoff rankings are out tonight. Is Oregon in the top 4? I don't think so. I think they should be. But if I had to ask you right now, Jake, right now, who are your top 4 teams in the college football playoff ranking?
Georgia, Ohio State, Texas, and Washington.
Really?
Yeah, and I go with those 4 because all 4 have a signature win. And I guess technically Georgia, debatable. But Georgia's won 2 national championships. That's like an auto bid, in my opinion.
Well, I think one of the things that's very interesting, it's not an auto bid. Well, if you're undefeated, it's an auto bid. One of the things that I think is so interesting is your belief that Ohio State does not have a quarterback.
Mhm.
And I completely disagree. I think Kyle McCord has been that guy. I think their win at Camp Randall over the weekend, I think, showed tremendous fortitude, because I think it would have been very easy for him to fold up and leave. He did not. He threw 2 interceptions, and they still got the win. I think they have a quarterback. I think that's a very difficult game. Their signature win very clearly is Notre Dame. And I think the way that Notre Dame has fought back and they have won games now, I think really helps. I think the fact that Penn State came in and got boat raced, and I think the other issue now for the Ohio State is that Penn State is now listless. That was an uninspiring performance against Indiana. But I absolutely think that Ohio State belongs in. I have Georgia 1, Ohio State 2, Oregon 3, and Washington 4. And yes, I know, Washington fan, you're going to lose your mind that I have Oregon ahead of Washington. I just think Oregon's better. I think you play that game 5 times at Autzen and 5 times at Husky Stadium. I think 6 wins are going to be on the side of Oregon. I just feel like Oregon's a better team. I think that game was razor close. I think Dan Lanning screwed the Ducks out of that win. And I think what I saw from Bo Nix at Utah was an absolute surgical performance. And I think Oregon's the 3rd best team in the country. And I think the question is Alabama, because I think my first 2 out are Florida State and Alabama. And I think OU and Washington, I think you have questions about them. I certainly think Texas has a debate. Listen, if you're top 8 right now, you're going to have, if you win out, if you're one of the top 8 teams tonight and you win out, you're going to get in. Because I don't believe that all 8 of these teams will win out. Because the way I have them in order, I have Georgia, Ohio State, Oregon, Washington, Texas, Bama, Florida State, and Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't believe, I think Bedlam this weekend is going to be incredibly difficult for Oklahoma. I think they are playing terrible football right now, but I think they also were in a trap game. And I think Oklahoma's got one of the best wins of the season, but I think Texas today is better. They dismantled BYU. Okay, BYU's very mid right this point. They're trying to ramp up in the Big 12. Okay, great. They dismantled BYU. They went to Tuscaloosa and they won. They lost to Oklahoma. There's no way to spin that.
And then Oklahoma lost to Kansas.
And there's no way to spin that. And I think Oklahoma is my 8th team. I think FSU is my 7th team. And I think Bama and Texas are right there.
Yeah, my thing with Oregon and Washington is I don't even disagree with you. I think Oregon is the better team 9 days out of 10. You just weren't the better team that day.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to sit here and penalize Washington because they went out and did a job that day. That's my thing with having Washington ahead of Oregon. And I think this is the greatness of the college football playoff, right? Because it's a philosophical conversation. I agree. Oregon's the better team. I'd rather have Oregon in the college football playoff than Washington. That's just my opinion. But I can't reasonably say, well, yeah, Oregon, you're just out of luck because I think Oregon or Washington, you're out of luck because Oregon's a better team. I can't say that. And so that's why I have Georgia, Ohio State. And I think the other thing with Ohio State is the defense. The defense has shown it can hold up. And
now, is that a we-fence or is that a
unlike Khaki King, Ohio State's not being investigated for sign stealing. An illegal sign stealing at that, because sign stealing technically isn't illegal. So, Ohio State's not in a whole thing. And that's the thing that I think we have to talk about this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have Michigan in there on merit alone. I'm not doing it. I'm not going to be the guy that sits here and just goes, yep, blinders are on. Michigan's in the playoff. Yep, soft-ass Big Ten schedule. Haven't done a damn thing all year. Yeah, they're a playoff team. I'm not doing that, dude. I'm not. And I'm not doing it with Florida State either. Florida State doesn't have anything scheduling-wise. Everyone wants to sit here. I watched that Clemson game. You look like crap in that Clemson game. And I'm not letting you off the hook on that. So when you have bouncing back with Virginia Tech, Syracuse, and Duke, yeah, I'm not going to sit here and be like, yeah, you're a top 4 team right now.
So you don't think that the committee is going to What do you think the committee will do?
I
Because
think
my guess is the committee is Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, and Washington.
I think the committee is going Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, Florida State. And the Pac-12, as usual, will be penalized. The ACC will get one team. The SEC, will obviously be represented, and the Big Ten.
I think Florida State's got a tough case to sell because they don't have a quality win. And I think, with the meltdown, I don't know how many of you saw the meltdown from Dabo last night on his radio show where he told a listener, this kid Tyler, that I don't care what you think. And I actually don't mind the way Dabo handled it. But Dabo and Clemson are not a good win. Florida State's 8-0, and they don't have a quality win on their schedule because their wins are LSU at the beginning of the season. They boat raced LSU. Okay, throw LSU in. Let's say that's a quality win. You have one. Southern Miss, Boston College, Clemson, Vatech, Syracuse, Duke, and Wake Forest. I think it's going to be awfully tough for the committee to put them forth over a Washington team that any way you slice it, and I don't care why or how, they beat Oregon.
Yeah.
And Oregon's got one of the best wins of the season, snapping that winning streak of Utah at home. And I think it's going to be very difficult not to put Washington in that fourth spot. I mean, I think we could make an argument both ways. I think Oregon and Washington are better than, FSU, Texas, Bama, Oklahoma.
See, Bama's the one. I sit here and there's no way to make a case right now that Bama's better than those teams. But the thing that sticks with me about Bama is they've just been getting better and better. And this is not Nick Saban's first rodeo, man. They're like,
but here's the question. How good is Ole Miss? Because if you put Ole Miss into this conversation of the best teams in the country, Alabama should be one of the top 4 teams in the country. Because that's a huge win for them.
Right.
And I look at some of the other games. I wonder how much credibility does Texas A&M at 5-3 have? That's a huge win for Bama. You look at they pounded Tennessee late. They unfortunately had to hang on against Arkansas. But their loss was week 2, Texas. That's a good time to lose. It's what I say about look at Florida State. Nobody's going to remember that LSU win. That's the biggest problem.
Let's say they did. If you're trying to hate on Alabama, your argument's void anyway because they got LSU this week.
Yeah.
Like, come on, dude.
That's a massive game. And to Florida State's credit, LSU is back up to 13th now. So it'll be interesting to see. I just don't have a grasp on how much respect the committee has for Lane Train and Ole Miss.
Yeah, and my biggest thing here, the only thing I'm asking out of the committee is at least put some weight into strength of schedule. I understand, okay, Georgia, you're getting a free pass here, essentially.
But do we put any weight in strength of schedule?
I don't think they do, and I want them to. They should. We've just sat here and talked about this for 20 minutes on strength of schedule alone.
But here's the other thing we've been talking about for a year and a half, and Major League Baseball carries serious weight in this discussion. Well, Monty, what do you mean? It's the boys down south. Saturday afternoons are for the boys, dude. What's baseball got to do with this? You know what baseball has to do? Anybody see the ratings for Game 1 of the World Series? With little old Phoenix that nobody is a sports fan of anything Phoenix. They were the worst ratings in the history of the World Series. Game 1, 9.1 million viewers between Texas and Arizona, the Rangers and the D-backs, 2 supposedly major market teams. Only outdone by Game 2, which was 1 million viewers less.
Because it's garbage.
So you have 2 small market teams, apparently, and I shouldn't say that, 2 small fan bases in Major League Baseball with the Rangers and the Diamondbacks. The Diamondbacks don't have a fan base. And the ones that are diehard fans in Phoenix, it's very small. I'm a Cub fan. I did a nickel, what felt like a prison sentence in Phoenix. I lived there for 5 years. I only went to Cub games. I never went to a D-back game. I only went to Cub games, right? If you are the college football playoff committee and you're looking at TV ratings, which right now are really important in television, you have to have them to make money. Are you telling me you're not wondering how you can get Alabama, Texas, Ohio State, And man, can we really punish Michigan? They turn out huge television audiences. I think it's going to be very difficult for Florida State to make the college football playoff. They got to be perfect. Perfect. Because if there's a benefit of the doubt, and we're talking about Michigan, Ohio State's a no-brainer. If they win the Big Ten, forget it. If they lose the Big Ten championship, forget it. They're in. Like there's just so little room for error if you're Florida State. And I think the biggest issue, again, Dabo's weak, and LSU was way early in the season. Because after the LSU game, what's your quality win? Not to be redundant. And they need the best TV matchups in the college football playoff. Because they're not after 9 million, 10 million viewers. They're after 15 or 20. They want a massive record-breaking audience. And the only way you're getting that is a Bama, Ohio State. The only way you're getting that is if you have an Oregon, Georgia, Bama. You need blue bloods. And I think you're going to get that. Because remember, this is the last year of the 14 playoff. And you are going to go out for bid on this. College football TV deals. You're looking at how difficult it is for money to come into college football. Don't undersell that. Because I'm telling you, you look at what's happening with Major League Baseball in the World Series, historically bad ratings. And how many people are like, well, if it had been Phillies and Dodgers, it's not. And I'm telling you, the College Football Playoff Committee is going to go Phillies and Dodgers. They're not going to go Rangers and D-backs. I
agree completely.
People are going to lose their minds over that. I totally get it. I totally understand it. Do you think they punish Michigan? Does the college football, before we get to your comments, do you guys in the comments section, do you believe that the College Football Playoff Committee will punish Michigan?
Not tonight. I don't think tonight. I think they'll be in the rankings. I think they'll be number 2 in the nation.
I would agree with that.
I think, largely that's just because we don't have deniers of the Michigan situation still have a little bit of doubt that they can stand on. Nothing's come out that said definitively in the public, this happened, rock solid, no doubt about it. Now, I think it happened. That's my opinion, though. So if you're the playoff committee, you're like, yeah, we got a couple weeks here. Yeah, let's put them in there. Let's keep the pot stirring. Let's keep cooking this thing. And then at the end, before our final ranking, we just got to have them out of there. That's what I think their philosophy is. That's what I'd be doing.
Like 10 people have sent me a video from Andy Staples on Twitter. I don't know. I don't know that it shows me anything really. Boy, it sure does look like him on the sidelines at Central Michigan, man. Anyway, what do you guys think? Will the College Football Playoff Committee punish Michigan? I don't think they'll do it tonight. Johnny Gonzalez, not ever punishing the team up north is the NCAA motto.
Yeah, but you can only go so far with it, man.
Jeff Woodworth, you want ratings? Georgia, Michigan, Bama, Ollie Gordon. Of course.
Dude, of course, dude.
Of course.
Of course.
Joseph Harper, hell, it was all ratings. They would have Colorado in the playoff. Yeah, but within reason. Within reason. CJ Vance, Phoenix is a cool town. Not saying it's not. But what it's not is a good sports town. There's nobody that lives in Phoenix who's going to tell you it's a great sports town.
It's too transient of a town, dude.
I think the only building that's ever truly lit there, is Footprint Center with the Phoenix Suns. When the Suns are good, that whole town is on board.
And I think when you think about Phoenix, like, notice how few people actually grew up in Phoenix. They're like natives of that town. Why do you think New York and Philly and LA and, Boston, Chicago, why do you think those are great sports towns? Oh, that's right. Because we grew up there and we remember watching Cubs on WGN. We remember the all the moments. That's what Phoenix doesn't have.
Yeah, and I just feel like this is so you cannot swing and miss if you're the college football playoff.
Certainly.
Satch Mojo Jones. It would be nice if we saw the best teams, not the best teams with the most fans. And it would be nice if I weighed 195 pounds and was a multimillionaire. But that's just not reality. And I'm telling you, Reality is you have to do what's best for college football, in my opinion. Kyle Wilson. Hence why Oregon State greater than Arizona State. Phoenix doesn't care about sports. Oregon State is not winning right now. And Noah Fafita ate that beaver for dinner. Noah Fafita is legit. If you guys have not seen him, come on, man. I'm telling you. WTF craps. Michigan is going to lose, so we don't need to worry about them getting in. Who are they going to lose to? I think you could make an argument that this week, this has to be letdown central, right? I mean, this is the week that Michigan, it's Purdue, though.
Come on,
You
man.
guys, it's Purdue at the
defense.
house. Like, you're not losing to Purdue.
You know, you got the signs. You scouted them. Everything's good, dude. Come on.
Next week against Penn State, that could be one. That's at Happy Valley. I got to believe it's going to be a whiteout, although it's 10 in the morning.
It's only 2 games a year for Michigan, dude, and we all know it. We all know it.
At Maryland and then home for Ohio State on Thanksgiving week. I don't know that I think they lose to Ohio State. I'm not buying that they're not losing to Purdue. They're not losing to Purdue. James, Michigan should not be in the top 4 regardless of punishment. Ohio State is the best team in the Big Ten. Georgia, Texas, Washington, Oregon, and FSU are better than Michigan. I completely disagree. Michigan's defense, and I know it's a defense coach.
Right.
I don't think it matters who you put on the other side of the line. Michigan's defense is dominant.
It's a defense.
Every metric they have.
But is there no? I mean, you're right. The metrics say that, but now I doubt it. Like you dominant regular season. You've not been a dominant playoff
team. This goes back to, will the committee punish Michigan? Because you have dominated in the regular season. You couldn't dominate TCU. You couldn't dominate Georgia. But people watch Michigan football.
Yep.
Satch Mo Jones. U of M will be top 4. They sat on their ass while Ohio State played and won last week, and nothing changed in the AP. The AP is such a joke. Matthew Farmer. World Series ratings just goes to show America doesn't care for baseball. No, I think America doesn't care for small market teams.
Yeah, I think America cared plenty when it was Phillies.
Yeah. Casey Boss. Nope. It's all about the money. Okay. Casey Boss, I saw your email, by the way. Jeff Woodworth, Michael Jarrett, they did your comment, said it was one of the best. Okay.
Bro, is he saying we missed his comment?
No, we didn't miss his comment.
Oh, he's the guy that did the yellow comment.
Yeah.
Yeah, we read that.
Yeah. I said it was one of the greatest comments ever on the show.
Yeah, man.
That team up north.
Yeah.
How can you not love that team up north? You know. Greg Hill, hard for Rangers to duel against Dak and Luka. Well, but is that the point, though? Is that the point? Game 1 and game 2. Game 1 was the lowest game ever. Game 2 was the lowest game ever.
Yeah, we're setting records here in the worst way possible.
I don't think that's what it. I just think it's. And there was a lot of controversy around the Texas Rangers' new stadium, and I don't think that the Texas Rangers have some massive, passionate fan base. So I think it causes real problems. Cheesy breaking news: Michigan hired 3 sign language interns as of yesterday. Hey, okay, guys, we need you to read lips over there.
Hey guys.
Stephen Smith, what are your thoughts on the Big 12 race? Well, I think we talked at length about that yesterday. I think the Big 12, I don't think the standings today reflect what they're going to reflect in 3 weeks. I think you look at, and I know the game is meaningless and nobody cares and the state of Oklahoma doesn't give a damn and we should just skip it. Both teams should have a bye this week. I mean, at least that's what
I know.
At least that's what Mike Gundy, who's the coach of the greatest running back that nobody's ever seen, Ollie Gordon. I'm a man. What's going to happen with Oklahoma State this week? I'd probably lean on Oklahoma this week. What's going to happen with Iowa State? Iowa State's a very interesting proposition. They've got Kansas this week. That's in Ames. At BYU, Texas, at K-State. They should win 2 of those games, and they got to find a way to beat Texas or K-State.
Well, you're not beating Texas.
You're not going to show up. You're not going to, well, I don't know that I would say that. But my point is, If Jahdae Barron's not even 80%, that defense is going to suffer at Texas. But Texas has K-State this week. That's at DKR. TCU, Iowa State, Texas Tech. My guess is Texas goes 4-0. They're going to be 8-1. So does Oklahoma do the job? They didn't do the job last week. Are they going to be 7-2? Because if they're 7-2, Oklahoma State's going to the Big 12 championship game. I don't see any way right now. The only way, like Iowa State would need so many things to happen and they'd have to run the table. I don't think there's anybody else. K-State at 4-1. I just think you've got your at Texas, Baylor, at Kansas, and Iowa State. Like, do you know how difficult that is?
It's rough, man. It's rough.
How difficult that is, right? But then again, I look at Kansas right now at 6-2. If you're Kansas, you're at Texas, Baylor, my bad. If you're Kansas, you're 6-2. You're at Iowa State, Texas Tech, K-State, at Cincinnati.
More attainable.
Are you 7-2? Because a 7-2 team has a chance to play for the conference championship. I don't know. We'll see. Jeff Woodworth, EMAW, that'd be K-State for you non-cool kids. From a Jayhawk this week. You need it. I think K-State is a very interesting club.
They've been a little inconsistent this year, and I think that's come back to get them a little bit, but they're playing well now.
And Will Howard's playing much. They've scored 82 points, you guys. K-State scored 82 points in the last 2 weeks. Only other team we've said that about, Oregon. They've won their last 2 games 82-3. That's
damn.
And Will Howard's back, dude. You can sit here and you can say anything you want. Will Howard is somebody put Sparky right where it belongs.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess he didn't like riding the pine, dude.
I would agree. He hasn't thrown an interception since the Oklahoma State loss, and he is 5-0 touchdowns to interceptions now. Texas Tech, he only threw 9 passes. But he was full on against TCU and full on against Houston. And really, the job is his now. I don't think there's any doubt about that. But he's been a far better quarterback. And he's got 7 picks, though. He got the Monty Show jinx when he was on the show. You can watch that video on the channel. But we'll see. Brandon Unruh, what's up, Brandon? I wouldn't count out K-State this week. You see the last 2 games?
There's no doubt they have opportunity.
But I don't know how to keep saying this. I watch a ton of Texas football. They're just more talented than K-State is. Texas is more talented than everybody but Oklahoma. And the better, more interesting part is, I think, and again, this is just my opinion, I think Texas has the bros to stop the run. And if you can stop the run, you can beat Oklahoma State.
Yeah, and I think stopping the run is crucial for them.
I mean, I'm looking at the numbers in the Big 12, and Texas is just good.
I mean, think about how much stopping the run affects a guy like, Will Howard or any of the premier, quarterbacks in the league.
It just opens up more.
Yeah.
And I think when I look at I was looking at the numbers because I don't have a life. I was looking at the numbers in the Big 12. There's only one defense that statistically is better, and it's K-State, who's given up 16 points a game, and Texas has given up 16 points a game. And it's very difficult when you look at the rushing defense. Who's the best rushing defense in the Big 12? Texas, and it's not close.
Unreal.
And why is that? Because you've got speed on the D-line and speed at the linebacker position.
And I think when you look at Oklahoma State, something's got to give. Oklahoma State runs for 184 yards a game. Texas gives up 97 yards a game. So, listen, if Oklahoma State wants to win the Big 12, they're probably going to have to go through Austin to do it. Probably going to have to beat Texas in the Big 12 championship game. But I know it doesn't matter. And hey, listen, nobody cares because Mike Gundy's told me not to give a damn about Bedlam.
I'm a man.
The game's meaningless.
Right.
It means absolutely nothing. And Mike Gundy knows way more than you do. He's smarter than you. He's got Barry Sanders in the backfield because all the Oklahoma State fans are doing is saying that nobody likes Ollie Gordon and nobody.
Are you out of your goddamn mind?
Nobody will even say he's good. And to which I've asked every Oklahoma State fan, show me where somebody said Ollie Gordon was trash.
Y'all feel me?
Show me where somebody said he wasn't good. They can't do it because they want to be a victim. It helps them to be the underdog. And you're not. Jim Choi, Texas has got all the Jimmies and Joes, but Sark's track record ain't.
Well, I think that's changed a little bit this year, though,
Are we
man.
still talking about Sark's track record?
Yeah, I think that discussion came to an end against Alabama, bro. And I think that the next argument's going to be, well, what about Oklahoma? Okay, yeah, they lost to Oklahoma, but what did Oklahoma have to do to get that win? They had to pull something out of the hat with, I think, 28 seconds left. Like, they did something that nobody saw coming. So I'm not going to sit here and indict Sark over, in what I would call greatness out of Dylan Gabriel to take his team down the field like that. He deserves credit. We don't need to bash Sark. We need to give Dylan Gabriel credit. And to that end, that is precisely why I have Texas above Oklahoma, because Oklahoma has that second loss and Texas doesn't.
Bryce Martin, Texas is still winning because K-State has to play a near perfect game. And if you make one mistake, see the difference for Will Howard is you can throw interceptions and still be in the game on Oklahoma State because they're not explosive. Malik Murphy showed you one thing last week. They didn't miss a beat throwing the football.
Facts.
Because that kid can throw the football. And I think you're looking at a balanced offense, a much more balanced offense. Obviously, you're not as good without Quinn Ewers. But I think Malik showed you he can play the position. So we'll see. Johnny says K-State about to Rudy that team down south. The team down south. Okay. Brandon Unruh, OU has always had more talent than K-State too, but we won the last 3 or 4. Because talent doesn't always win.
Yeah.
But this Texas defense, this Texas offense, there's no way to, if you watch Texas, there's no way to argue. They're very well coached.
And I just don't know why. Like, I do know why. Texas is in that group of teams in all of sports that people just like to hate on. And I get it. I'm not going to sit here and, try to convince the Mullets or the K-State fans or whoever, certainly Oklahoma fan, that Texas is a really talented team that just got beat on a couple of plays late in the game. If you want to hate on them, fine. But I'm telling you right now, Sark has done a hell of a job this year. I'm telling you right now, Texas, in my opinion, will be a real problem in the SEC next year. And if you're Steve Sarkisian, I think, obviously the goal is to win the Big 12 and get into the college football playoff. But, either way, I think you've had a strong showing here.
Listen, if you're going to end up at AT&T Stadium, you're going to have to outdo Texas. And right now, I don't see a team in this league, especially with the way we watched Oklahoma falter. And they faltered, with all due respect to our friends in Lawrence. They faltered.
Yep.
There's no doubt about that. I don't see a team in this league that is certainly not more talented than Texas.
Yeah, like that's
that
what
doesn't
I'm saying,
exist,
dude. Like, if you're an Oklahoma fan, how are you really sitting here saying that you're a better team than Texas? Yeah, you got the win, but then you fell apart, and Texas hasn't fallen apart in what was, in my opinion, a more gut-wrenching loss than your loss to Kansas. Come on.
Yeah,
Come on
Oklahoma.
now.
Yeah, I'm not trying to diss Kansas. Oklahoma had every opportunity to win that game and just didn't. Just could not. So I think you're going to have a real tough time. It's like you look at the home games that Texas has left, and I say to myself, is K-State going to DKR and winning? Is Texas Tech, after what we've seen from Joey and the boys, going to DKR and winning? No. And you and I both know the Big 12 championship game is going to be a Texas home game. There's no question about that. Like that, I mean, you're playing in Dallas, man, or excuse me, Tarrant County, boy. You're playing in Arlington. That's going to be a Texas home game. So good luck. Let's see. Jeff Woodworth says game's not in Austin. It's in Tarrant County.
We know.
What game are you talking about? Jim Choi. We'll see if OU and UT could finish the rest of the games unscathed. Yeah, we'll see. Big Daddy Magic. God bless Texas, the home of Golden Goat of NBA. Victor.
Victor's the way.
Just won't let it go. Gundy better care about this bedlam. He does. It's so annoying to me. It's the only thing more annoying to me than bedlam and saying the game doesn't matter is when your wife snores and you don't do anything about it. Nothing?
Do you see my dude working over here? Like, do you see how good that is, bro?
I'm for real.
Soundsleepmedical.com/Monty. Let's go, baby. I love the fact that so many of our viewers have gone to soundsleepmedical.com and signed up for the free sleep evaluation. You see it on the screen right there. Soundsleepmedical.com. You guys, you don't have to deal with snoring and sleep apnea anymore. And it doesn't take some huge mechanical loud machine in your bedroom every night. At Sound Sleep Medical, they know how to help you stop snoring. And it's all about a custom fit mouthpiece that's going to do the job that you have not thought possible for your entire adult life.
Treat snoring and sleep apnea with no masks and no tubes. Just better, healthier sleep with Sound Sleep Medical. Use code MONTY, MONTY, to schedule a free sleep assessment today.
Soundsleepmedical.com/Monty. And so many people have said to me, well, I don't snore. Or how do you know you snore? Ask the person that sleeps next to you. They will tell you. And it's amazing to me how many men have said, yeah, my wife snores like a freight train. I'm going to soundsleepmedical.com/Monty. And it's the truth. There's so much damage. And I don't mean to wax on about this, but I take it really seriously. I talked yesterday about how I didn't sleep well the other night. Last night, slept like a baby, right? But when you have sleep apnea, you never sleep like a baby. All you do is wake up gasping for air. And you're somebody that every time you do that, just know that you're damaging your brain. Just know that when you don't sleep well and you're not getting enough REM sleep, you're damaging your brain. And it doesn't have to be that way. You don't have to be embarrassed anymore. You don't have to be self-conscious anymore. Get to soundsleepmedical.com/Monty. They're going to give you a free in-home sleep study because you listen to our show, right? And it's a ring you wear, and then you wear a monitor on your chest. You sleep one night and you take it back in and they tell you, hey, here's the deal. Just because you snore does not mean you have sleep apnea, right? And maybe you do, but there's so many people who are like, well, I don't want a CPAP machine. You don't, A, know that you have sleep apnea, and B, maybe you don't need that. Maybe it's just snoring, and maybe it's just that you can handle it at Sound Sleep Medical, and your insurance is going to cover it. I just want you to sleep well. You'll have better days. You're going to rebuild your relationship. And I know so many guys that are not intimate with their wives because you don't sleep in the same bed, and you don't get that time to lay together and talk and share your feelings and your emotions. And there's a distance between you. Stop doing that, man. Live your best life. Soundsleepmedical.com/Monty. Get your free sleep evaluation, and then go see the Raiders take on Jaren Hall and the Minnesota Vikings.
Let's go.
Kirk Cousins out for the year. It looks like Jaren Hall's got the job until he doesn't. And you can go see Jaren take on your Las Vegas Raiders. We're going to give you 2 nights at the Flamingo, dinner for 2 at Mastro's Ocean Club in the Treehouse, the best steak dinner you've ever had. We're going to give you 2 tickets to the game, a $200 Visa gift card to get you to Las Vegas to watch it all happen. And it's all courtesy of our friends at Sound Sleep Medical. If you are a high-level member, if you are a members-only content guy on this show, and you take the free sleep evaluation, you get 25 extra entries compared to everybody else's one. If you're a $1.99 member on this show, you get 10 extra entries to everybody else's one. And if you're not a member and you just want to go get your sleep evaluation so you can go see the Raiders, you get 1 entry. Hook it up right now. Soundsleepmedical.com/Monty. Take a screen grab and send it to Jake. Gary Wolf says Connor snores and steals signs in his sleep. I believe he does.
Must be, and that's why he's wearing the glasses, you know?
That's right. That's right. Jeff Woodworth, Fell asleep just thinking about that game. Exactly right. Salty drunk? Look at you. Has Ollie Gordon replaced Giddy as the new whipping boy on the show? No. Raptor 88, I sleep horribly, but it's because of a 1-year-old. Dude, you're not even kidding. You're not even kidding. And donuts, Monty, she snores like a sawmill and pulls a freight train. Dude, I'm so glad I don't snore. My wife doesn't snore. And as somebody who used to be much heavier and I used to snore, I was so self-conscious about it. And I'm telling you guys, if you're somebody that snores and your wife's constantly roll over, or she goes in the guest room or on the couch, like, you don't have to do that, you guys. Sound Sleep Medical has a solution for you.
Yes.
Trust me when I tell you, it'll save your marriage. It'll rebuild your intimacy. SoundSleepMedical.com. Let's see. Shoddy says Texas 7-1. We're going to the conference championship game. Well,
okay, Shoddy.
You got to win some games. And Donut says Monty's in classic form. I try, man. Mike Smith, Ollie Gordon is like Walter White. He's the one who knocks on the door. No, I'm not, Mike. I'm not playing your games. I'm not talking about cooking meth. Are you saying that Ollie's cooked here? One of the best lines ever is he picks up that dirt and he's like, someone's cooked here. Jake doesn't even know what that's from.
Yeah, Breaking Bad.
AAR, Kirk Cousins likely done in Minnesota. I doubt it. I think Kirk will be back in Minnesota. He is a perfect fit in their offense. His offensive coordinator loves him. I think he'll be back. Gabriel, I will go to Sleep Medical next year. Why would you wait till next year?
Yeah.
Why would you wait? I don't think Kirk Cousins is done. Tanner Plummer, Salty, it's Josh Mitty. Get it right.
Yeah,
wow.
Thanks.
Please do not. Don't light the fuse.
Yeah, please.
Please don't. Please don't. WTF craps. Anyone watch the late game with Oregon State and Arizona? Take the field goal with 2 seconds left. What kind of joke was that? These Oregon teams and field goal negotiations.
Well.
Yeah.
Well said.
Dude, Noah Fafita's a stud. Mike Smith, totally random outburst, dumpster raccoon video. Do you really think I'm just going to play the raccoon video because you asked for it?
Oh, fucking God.
Dude needs to go to the beauty salon and get waxed.
Seriously.
A lot of overgrowth there, my friends. All right, before we get to all the NFL trades, let's run through the biggest headlines of the day, thanks to our friends at BuckedUp Energy, the official energy provider of the Monty Show. I don't think there is any doubt that this Jim Harbaugh story, and there's so many people sending me links. I appreciate that you guys do that. Thank you. There's so many people sending me links of pictures of who they think is Connor Stalions on the sideline. Listen, you guys, I don't think there's any doubt that this story today about Connor Stalions being on the sideline potentially, and I say potentially because nobody's been able to confirm it, but you look at these pictures and you see Connor Stalions on the Michigan sideline, and you see some guy on the Central Michigan sideline, and you see Connor Stalions with his arms crossed, and you're like, wow, are there really any similarities there? He crosses his arms exactly the same way, right? And you see that he's holding a white clipboard, and you look at him on the Michigan sideline, and he looks exactly the same. Like holding a marker, holding a white clipboard. People, do you understand, you guys, that people measured his ears against the guy on the Central Michigan sideline? This is going to be awfully difficult for Michigan and Jim Harbaugh to get away from.
Can you measure it?
I don't think there's any doubt about it. And again, as I've said, I want somebody to look at me the way Connor Stalions looks at Jim Harbaugh. I think this is going to be tough to get away from. The other big news today is that Jim Harbaugh's extension at Michigan is being fast-tracked, according to sources from on3sports.com. College football sources with knowledge of the situation told us their belief is that the language will be significantly different in this contract One of the reasons I think that Michigan wants to tear up his old deal and do this new deal is not to make him the highest paid coach in the Big Ten, which is what this will do, but to get stronger language for termination in Jim Harbaugh's contract. I am told that Jim Harbaugh does not currently have termination language about NCAA infractions in his contract. He has a morals clause in his contract. I am told he does not have NCAA violation language, which will be part of this new deal. I think this is a really bad look for Michigan. I think it is a mistake to extend Jim Harbaugh now. I don't believe that at any time they pulled the extension off the table. I think they said, hey, we need to rework it and we need to put stronger language in there, which of course Jim Harbaugh has no ability to say no to. So I don't think they ever rescinded the offer. I think they simply reworked it. But I would guess before kickoff on Saturday, an extension with Jim Harbaugh is probably announced, which makes a lot of sense. But I think this situation at Central Michigan is only getting worse, and I want to update that as well. He reportedly, now there are many reports out there saying that Connor Stalions was not on the pass list at Central Michigan for that week 1 game against Michigan State. I think it is very interesting to see how that all plays out. And I think it's going to be shocking if this is not Connor Stalions. Like, shocking. I don't know how it would not be.
Yeah, they look just like each other.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, if we're about to discover his clone or his twin or something that nobody knows exists at this point, they look exactly the same. And you know what? It's a real shame on some level because Central Michigan, it appears, is heading down a path of not good result. And I think that Central Michigan, if they get looped into this thing, it was by their own doing, in my opinion. And it just says something that Michigan, Jim Harbaugh, and Connor Stalions, if that was him on the sideline at Central Michigan, in their clothes, in their apparel, looking like a coach, holding his clipboard. Tough, it just says something about the ability of Michigan and that staff to scheme. I mean, seriously, take a second and think about what you'd have to offer a program to get that done. What incentive do they have to allow you on the sideline so you can go ahead and scout Michigan State, let's say? I mean, they don't. So it's either monetary or something. I mean, there was some kind of something there. So it's unfortunate, but ultimately, I would agree. I think you're going to see that Jim Harbaugh extension come down. And then the only question really is how long this is going to take for the College Football Playoff Committee and really the NCAA and the Big Ten to do what they're going to do, because I have to believe they're going to do something.
Yeah, and I think one of the more interesting parts of this story with Connor Stalions on the sideline at Central Michigan is, and this is a great for instance, people on the internet who have plenty of time apparently have measured his body composition. And they say that this dude apparently is the exact same frame, size, and weight as Connor Stalions. Like, people are going this far with it. And I think it's unbelievable that you could look past this and say this is not Connor. I don't know how you would do that. I really, if you're in any kind of position of responsibility, you would have to. You would have to look at this and say.
And it also, in my opinion, really, really speaks volumes about how poor they are at cheating. I have to say that because, if you knew anything about that credential, in the videos going around now, you can see what appears to be Connor Stalions ducking away from what he assumed was the camera angle as the guy's running out of bounds. You can see,
you can see him turning his head, looking down.
Like, you're being evasive. Like, you just don't look normal to anyone who knows what a sideline should look like. And that's why I say, like, whether it is
tripping and falling over equipment on that sideline.
Like, so whether it is the investigation about COVID dark period recruiting, or whether it is the FBI computer crimes, right? Speaking of dark web, dark period.
The FBI.
Like, or whether now it's this sign stealing thing. Dude, Jim Harbaugh thinks you can just do whatever the hell you want. And that's over now. That's over, bro.
He thinks he's above the law.
Yeah.
I'm Chris Hansen, and I'm coming for Jim Harbaugh.
You're so fucked.
I needed a Chris Hansen reference.
Chris
today.
Hansen.
Football 50-10 of the hour, every hour on the Monty Show. Presented by our good friends at Prize Picks, the only daily fantasy provider on the Monty Show is Prize Picks. You guys, go get it. In the description below of this year's showroom, there is a link. It will get you 100% deposit matching at prizepicks.com. Use the promo code Monty or just click the link in the description below. It'll embed that code. You put in $5 and it's not $1 million. You can play Prize Picks for $5. Ask Jake. He had $5 left in his account yesterday and lost again. Now he's broke like a joke. But that's not going to be you because you're going to win big at prizepicks.com. Use the promo code Monty to get 100% deposit matching. You put in $25, they'll give you $25. You put in $100, they give you $100.
Yeah, thanks, Alfonso Marquez, for that strike zone last night.
Oh,
Thanks,
my God.
Slick.
Did you guys see that on Football 50? Let's talk baseball. Alfonso Marquez missed 13 strikes last night.
So why did I
13?
lose? Why did I lose? Yeah, because I
you're
had that
terrible at it.
picture. No, actually, that's not true. I'm better at Prize Picks than Michigan is at cheating to get signs. And last night, I got cheated. I'm the victim. I am representing the Oregon State mentality. I'm the victim, dog. That umpiring performance was terrible, bro. I needed Brandon Fott to have 5 Ks. And he finished with 4 because you didn't want to ring up the Texas Rangers.
It's spelled terrible pitcher, but pronounced Fott. Yeah, Fott
Idiot.
this.
Come on now. Help me.
Jake was so mad last night. Let's talk NFL trades. What in the world is going on with the Commanders?
Nice name.
I don't know why I'm talking like that. The Washington Commanders traded Chase Young to the San Francisco 49ers. Yeah, because we needed that. The Bears got Montez Sweat for a second-round pick. Chase Young went to the 49ers for a third-round pick. I mean, the rich get richer. The San Francisco 49ers only owe Chase Young $500,000 for the year. And I think he's going to have a monster last 6 weeks of the season. Jake, I think they're the best team in the NFL already.
Sure.
And I think this is now a really formidable defense.
Yeah, and I think the problem is that now you've got both sides of the line with premier pass rushing. You know, you've got an offense that surely is going to come back to life. Obviously, they've struggled a little bit here, but you know you're going to come back to life that way. So really now, if you're the 49ers, you're sitting here looking at this and saying, hey, you know what? We just got to survive the tough part of our schedule and the adversity where we're just not playing very well and get back to playing good football, and we're on our way. And I would expect them to have another Super Bowl run this year. I would as well. I love the Montez Sweat deal for we, the Chicago Bears. It gives Eberflus another tool on the defensive line, and the only thing Matt Eberflus is good at is rushing the passer when he has guys who can rush the passer because, Leonard Floyd and, the guy, Khalil Mack, who everybody said was done in a bust. Yeah, they're having massive years in San Diego. We play in the Charger Stadium in L.A. Montez Sweat's a great pickup. I also think that Leonard Williams going to the Seattle Seahawks was not today, but I think it's a move of the trade deadline. I think the Seattle Seahawks are a real force to be reckoned with. I think that's a great move. I think the Minnesota Vikings trading for Josh Dobbs is a strong move, although from what people are saying in Minnesota, Jaron Hall's the starting quarterback there. And the thing that really is puzzling, I hate this trade of Ezra Cleveland to the Jaguars. The Minnesota Vikings traded a younger, high-performing offensive guard to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Great pickup for Dougie P and the boys in the Bill. Hey, Dougie.
In Duval. But I don't understand what you were doing in Minnesota. I hate that move. I know they have depth there. You don't give up on good offensive linemen.
Yeah, and I love that Jaron Hall is finally getting an opportunity here, and I think that he's taken full advantage of it so far, and I would expect him to keep doing that. So
Yes.
The idea that you would get rid of an offensive lineman who's performing well when you have a young guy out back is really silly to me.
Yep. Bills acquire Rasul Douglas from the Packers. They needed secondary help. I think they more needed a wide receiver. But, as soon as, by the way, one of the trades late, Donovan Peoples-Jones from the Browns to the Lions, huge pickup for the Detroit Lions. They own the North. They own the North. I'm telling you. You watch the Vikings fold today. The Bears are absolutely terrible. Jordan Love is not Himmy in Green Bay. I think it is Detroit's division. And I think Donovan Peoples-Jones was a very nice pickup. But Rasul Douglas for the Bills, that was a big pickup because that's an arms race in the AFC East, and you better be able to cover Cheetahs.
Yeah.
Because if you can't cover the Miami Dolphins, you're not going to win that division. So I love that. Football at 50, 10 of the hour, every hour on the Monty Show, presented by Prize Picks, prizepicks.com. Make sure you click the link in the description below. Man, I love playing it. Tonight's a tough night, though, in Prize Picks. If you download the Prize Picks app, you guys can use the promo code Monty to make your first deposit. If you look at, Jake, you should check your Prize Picks account. If you look at Prize Picks for tonight, bro, DeAndre Hopkins.
Hey, D-Hop.
For next week, for next week is 33.5 yards. Telling you, boy, that's one you should probably pick up on a discount. So it's Halloween. That's one you should probably pick up. But in today's Taco Tuesday in Major League Baseball, it's going to be tough. I want to go Corey Seager more than 1.5 total bases. Makes me nervous.
Oh man, dude.
But let's not kid ourselves. I got absolutely positively piped by Corbin Carroll last night. And I think he's going to bounce back. This is a must win for Arizona.
Certainly.
And Torey Lovello, I'm a big believer in Torey Lovello. Dude, you don't win this game and you're at home. It's at Chase Field, not one of the worst baseball stadium I've ever been a fan in, where the lights are not bright enough. Man, Corbin Carroll's got to have a game. Corbin Carroll's got to have a game. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Easy win, I would say, in baseball is Geraldo Perdomo of the D-backs. He's good for 1 total base a game, every single game.
Jeff Woodworth. Prize Picks over under 2 full-size candy bars in my daughter's trick-or-treat bag tonight. Bro. Yeah, I am a believer. My wife would not allow me because my wife she's just a mean person. She's not nice at all. She's not hot. She's not beautiful.
Right.
She's not my girlfriend and my wife.
Right.
Like, she does nothing for me besides cook all kinds of healthy food and whatnot.
Right.
She is such an overlord of my home, my domicile.
Your domicile.
She would not allow me to buy full candy bars to give away on Halloween. She wouldn't do it. She said, no, fat ass, you're not doing that.
No fat ass.
Those were her exact words.
Wow.
She never said that. She actually asked me, do you guys want to give away full candy bars this year? I was like, no, because I'll give them away to my stomach.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. You're absolutely not wrong.
You want to know the quality of my wife, girlfriend? She hid all the Halloween candy. I was like, we're going to have trick-or-treaters at work. We have a bunch of kids that run around our floor every day. She's like, no, you don't. You're not taking any candy to work. And I was like, why? And she's like, because you'll eat it. And I'm like, I know. I mean, no, I want to give it to the kids.
What?
I want to give it to the kids. She was like, nah, bro. Nah, bro, not happening. Aaron Wilson says to catch a Harbaugh. I'm Chris Hansen, and you're videotaping sidelines.
Who the hell are you on Central Michigan sideline? What, me?
Me?
Well, I'm Connor.
Well, Connor, why did you bring condoms to the Michigan State game?
Wow.
To catch a predator, they always had, how the Predators would show up with liquor and condoms?
Yeah.
They'd be like, I was just stopping by to change the light bulb in the refrigerator. I don't know who this young
what the hell does she have to do with
me? That show is so good. Mike Smith went out and placed a large amount of banana peels in strategic areas, hidden cameras set out, kids slipping everywhere while trick-or-treating. Make sure you tell their parents to get to theadvocates.com.
Yeah.
The Monty Show, as always, is presented by The Advocates, theadvocates.com, the best injury attorneys in the business. You guys, you didn't deserve to get in an accident, but you do deserve an advocate.
I still have a lot of fears and anxiety about driving. My name is Satanama, and last year I was in 2 car accidents in the same intersection, neither of which were my fault. I was hurt pretty bad. It's been really hard to have my kids get in the car because you can drive as careful as you want to drive, but you can't control what other people do. So when the advocates stepped in, it really took off a lot of stress. I can rely on the advocates, and I know that they will treat me like I'm a person, like I deserve to be helped.
The Advocates at theadvocates.com, the best injury attorneys in the business. Make sure you tell them you heard about it on the Monty Show. You never pay a penny out of pocket. That's right. You never scratch a check. You're not reaching into your savings account or your 401ks to get representation. No, friends, when you work with the Advocates, you don't pay unless and until they win your case. That's why you can chat with an attorney for free right now online at theadvocates.com. Let them take all your cares away, man. I know when you've been in a car accident and you got airbagged and your car's totaled, you're not sure how you're getting to work, you're not sure what you're doing, your insurance company is asking you to sign a bunch of documents. Don't do that. Don't do that. Be ready, because unfortunately in our world, in the way people drive nowadays, it's not if, but when you get into an accident. Please be ready to get to the Advocates at theadvocates.com. The best injury attorneys in the business. All right, before we get to James Harden in the NBA, because that was a huge trade, let's see. What are you guys talking about? Jim Choi, unranked in the college football playoff. Damn right. Why wouldn't they be? Why would USC be ranked? That's the question that I have. Why would USC be ranked in the college football playoff? I don't think they would. I really don't think they would.
I just don't. It's been a bad look for them this year, man. Like, there's no way around that. I mean, the defense with where it's at, it is awful. Absolutely awful. And I don't think they have any business being in the college football playoff. None.
Well, I think it's really interesting that when you see, like, and this is going on right now, the college football playoff rankings are being announced as we speak.
Put them on the TV in the studio, please. Thank you.
Yay, look at my boys. Look at my boys.
Why are you an Ole
number
Miss
10.
fan all of a sudden,
Lane train,
dude?
bro.
Come on.
USC is 20th. Here are the top 25. Arizona 25, Tulane 24, K-State 23, Oklahoma State 22.
Dude, Oklahoma's 9th.
Oklahoma's 9th.
Shade.
Wow, Oklahoma's 9th.
That is shade,
Old
bro.
Miss 10, Oklahoma 9.
Wow.
That hurts.
Dude.
That's going to be tough for them to overcome. Now they have to win the Big 12 championship. There's just no way.
Cow.
Bama is, who's your boy? Who's your boy? Bama's number 8. What did I tell you? What did I tell you?
Nick Saban is a better man than you are.
Yeah, it's not surprising Bama's 8th. If you're in the top 8, you're in good shape.
Yeah.
You're in really good shape, because if you run the table from one of the top 8 spots in the college football playoff, you're fine. And I think as you look at a team like USC that's at the bottom of these rankings at number 20, you have very little chance to get in. You have very little chance to get in.
And there it is.
Texas is number 7. Dude, I ain't trying to say I told you, but Texas number 7,
He has our
Bama
full
number
respect.
8, Oklahoma 9, Ole Miss 10. Boy,
Michigan's a top 4 team, dude.
You feel like Oklahoma is being punished.
Well,
Oklahoma,
you can't lose to Kansas, dude.
But they beat Texas.
Doesn't matter. You can't lose to
Now,
Kansas.
I know you people lost your goddamn minds when I said Texas should be ranked ahead of Oklahoma.
Boom. Out of here.
College Football Playoff Committee agreed with me. And I think it is a really good win for Oklahoma, but you cannot, as Jake just said, lose to Kansas like that the weekend before the College Football Playoff rankings come out. You just can't do that. But if I really like what I've seen from the committee so far, because you're looking at Notre Dame 15, LSU 14, Louisville 13, Missouri 12, and Penn State 11. And it is pretty surprising to see how spot on this is. And I think if you look at like Utah 18th, it's over for Utah. You look at Oregon State 16th, it's over for Oregon State. But who have you not seen? You have not seen Oregon. You have not seen Washington. Like you're starting to see that. I think Oregon's going to be number 6 here. I think Oregon's going to be number 6 here.
You think Washington's ahead?
I think Washington is going to be number 5. And I think you are going to see That's tough. I think Florida State might be ahead of Washington here, which might be an injustice because if I had to guess, it'll be Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan 3. I would think Florida State 4, Washington 5, Oregon 6. I would think that that's the way that this is going to go based on the way the committee has put this top 10 together. So as we wait, 10 is Mississippi, 9 is Oklahoma, 8 is Alabama, Texas is number 7. And the issue that I have, wow, was that what I think it was?
What?
Wow. Adolis Garcia and Max Scherzer off of the Texas Rangers playoff roster.
We're off, dude.
Wow. Adolis Garcia, who
Outta here.
injured an oblique last night, and Max Scherzer, who frankly just is done, are both off of the Texas Rangers roster. Man, what a 5 minutes of news. This is remarkable. This is crazy. How do you guys feel about the college football rankings? Tanner says USC at 20 is stupid. They should be unranked. I mean, you're essentially unranked.
Yeah.
So
there it is.
There it is. Oregon at number 6. I'm telling you, this is.
So wait, where do you think UW is?
I think UW is 5.
Okay.
I think UW is 5, unless Florida State somehow.
I mean, Washington's here. No way about it.
Yeah, Washington's in the top 5. I think Florida State's number 4. And I think Florida is
that's going to be disappointing.
Washington is number 5.
Yeah, so there you go.
Wow.
Yeah.
Washington 5, Oregon 6.
Florida State's number 4.
Yeah, Michigan's number 3, Ohio State's 2, Georgia's number 1.
Yeah.
Wow, you seem really disappointed.
Yeah, I mean, I hate that we're rewarding Florida State. It's all hype, dude. It is all hype. You haven't played anybody. You're telling me USC is the 20th ranked team in the country, and then on the other hand, you're telling me Florida State's top 4. I can't. I mean, we're waiting. There it is. There you go. Florida State's number 4 team in the ranking. I can't respect that philosophy, that thought. Florida State hasn't played anybody. And I love Dabo and him going off on callers and all the stats he wants to drop. But the fact is, you're not that guy this year, dude. So the Clemson win is not really a big win. I'm not doing that. So to me, we're going to sit here. We're going to see Florida State and Michigan both be in the top 4. And unfortunately, I'm not surprised. And it's frustrating. But it is what it is, right? We shouldn't be surprised. That's how they do this.
Yeah, it is a little frustrating, I think. And I think it's one of those things where Florida State, it's a national brand. And I think when you are Florida State, Michigan is number 3. I mean, I'm telling you, man.
Ohio State and Georgia.
1 and 2. And I think is this a blue blood bias? Because that's what this feels like. This feels like a blue blood bias.
Let's go back to the folks who right now are on the outside looking in. So you look at, an Alabama, let's say.
Ohio State.
Wow.
Top 5. Ohio State number 1.
Wow.
Georgia number 2. Wow. Michigan number 3. Florida State 4. Washington 5. Oregon 6. A stunner in the college football playoff. Georgia is not number 1. Georgia is not number 1.
So you see what I mean?
Wow.
So we're going to go ahead and we're going to sit here and say Florida State's a better team than Washington or even Oregon.
Wow.
But then we're going to have the cojones to say that Ohio State is the best team in the country over Georgia, even though Georgia's won back-to-back national championships and has no reason to be, disrespected.
Wow.
Now, I know injuries, Brock Bowers, totally get it. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't love this, dude.
I am stunned by that. I am absolutely stunned by that. That Ohio State is number 1. And I'm hoping this is true. I am hoping it is strength of schedule. Because Ohio State, remember what we said last week, 15th strength of schedule. Georgia and Michigan are in the hundreds for strength of schedule. Man, I hope that's what this is. Wow. Is that a shocker How much of a shocker is that?
Oh, it's a big deal. It's absolutely a big deal. I mean, I look at 6 through 10 here: Oregon, Texas, Bama, Oklahoma, Ole Miss. You could easily make the case that Oregon, Texas, Bama, Oklahoma, and even Ole Miss have a stronger schedule than several of those teams up top. And so the question comes back to what you brought up earlier: how much weight does TV ratings, audience need people to watch? How much of that versus strength of schedule? Because that's what we're seeing play out here again. And I know it's their job, and I know it's what they have to do. But you really telling me Texas isn't as big a brand or bigger than Florida State?
Ohio State 1, Georgia 2, Michigan 3, Florida State 4, Washington 5, Oregon 6. Wow. That is an absolute shocker. And then you have Texas 7, Bama 8, Oklahoma 9, Ole Miss 10. Ole Miss is in the running for the college football playoff. Holy cow.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt your boys got them going in the right direction.
Wow. I am shocked. The college football playoff committee did the right thing. They absolutely did the right thing here. Putting Ohio State number 1 is a shocking, correct move for the college football playoff. Holy cow. I mean, because it gives Ohio State that advantage of playing the 4th team. So now Georgia and Michigan get a rematch. If it ended today, Georgia and Michigan get a rematch. And we have a long way to go. Obviously, Georgia and Michigan, Ohio State and Michigan are going to lose a game because they're going to play each other, and then you got to play the conference championship game.
Certainly.
Wow. I am so happy to see that because it restores my faith in the college football playoff committee. And I've talked about this a lot. Having worked at ESPN and knowing Heather Dinich pretty well, her and I have had battles on the radio about just how little value we put in the strength of schedule component in college football. I think it's everything. I think it's absolutely everything. I don't want to hear about Michigan, who doesn't play a difficult game until next weekend, and that's at Happy Valley at, noon Eastern on Big Noon Kickoff in the Big Ten against a floundering Penn State team. They basically don't play a big game at Michigan until they host Ohio State in the last week of the season. It's remarkable how weak the schedule at Georgia is. And it's so rewarding to see Ohio State get to the number 1 spot by beating Penn State and Notre Dame, to have the balls to schedule Notre Dame middle of your season, to beat them and to have it pay off in week 1 of the college football playoff rankings, Jake. I think it's absolutely a home run for the game.
Absolutely. And I think that, I also look at, the conferences that are representing themselves. And I just have to point out the Pac-12's done well here. Washington and Oregon being right there, right in the center of this conversation. Obviously, this is the first college football playoff ranking that we get. Tell me that Utah win is not absolutely just fueling that program now, right? You look at Washington, you telling me that Washington's not sitting here saying, yep, we're going to go out and win the conference. And then, we've made our case at that point. And I look at this ranking and I agree with you. Ohio State does have a better schedule. Ohio State, I'm not confident enough to say that they're a better team than Georgia, but when you're doing it on paper, ranking wise, they should be ahead of Georgia. Absolutely. But I'm still going to sit here and advocate for, hey, why are Florida State and Michigan in the top 4? If we're going to do that with Ohio State, why are we not doing it with Florida State and Michigan? Right? Because Oregon and Washington have a better schedule than both of those two. Yet they're behind them. So that's why I say some of this is doing right by the top 2 in the country. Some of this is TV matchups, rankings, conversation, drive the media machine. And I think that's the balance the college football playoff committee has to play. And I think they've done a great job of it tonight. I think they've done exactly what you would have wanted them to do. And I look at, like, to your point, what Ole Miss is doing, being at, what are they at? 10, 9?
Yeah, 10.
10. Like, that's, you're in a great position. You just got to keep going. I don't know that you get in this year, but the fact that you're top 10 in the first ranking is outstanding as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I think it is a huge win for Ohio State. I think it is a big, big deal that you have the Ohio State Buckeyes Number one. Again, it's Halloween. We have 5-6 weeks to go here. But dude, this is a big deal. I'm so tired of the free passes in college football. And this feels like an actual win for Ryan Day. And I know that I am not even an Ohio State fan in any way, shape, or form. I'm a Notre Dame fan.
Mm-hmm.
But if we're talking about truly the team that's got the resume, I would tell you my opinion is that Ohio State has the resume with the quality wins. I think you look at Texas. Texas has it because they've got to win in Tuscaloosa. That to me speaks volumes. And I think it means so much more to have a win at Bryant-Denny Stadium than it does to have a meaningless win over directional Alabama or
Certainly.
directional Ohio, or I just think it's so much, man. And I'm just so, I'm relieved. I feel like I'm emotional. I want to thank the Academy. Like I feel emotional about it because
name, image, and likeness.
Seriously, you just don't expect it to happen.
Right.
You expect the Blue Bloods to get the benefit of the doubt, and you look at these rankings, there's no benefit of the doubt given.
Well, I agree as far as Ohio State and Georgia are concerned. We can't, dude, if we're doing full respect what it should be, Florida State and Michigan should not.
But what does this tell you about the committee? That they value the win over LSU for Florida State? That's what this right here tells me, that they value the win over LSU. And I mean, we debated that earlier in the show, and I think that makes sense. I mean, I think Missouri's had a really good season. They're being rewarded for being 12. You're within earshot of the college football playoff, depending on how things break. Is it likely? No. But if you are Alabama, Texas, Oregon, Washington, Florida State, Michigan, Georgia, and Ohio State, you have everything to play for now. You run the table, you're in the college football playoff.
Mm-hmm.
The teams that lose one game or lose the conference championship, it's going to be awfully difficult to make that argument. Right? And remember, a year from now, this is a completely different discussion. Missouri's in the college football playoff a year from now.
Totally.
So this is a different deal. But you're not giving Notre Dame any quarter here. They're 15th. It's over. Right? You're Utah at 18. It's over.
But look at the implications. I love that conversation. Next year's format, I mean, you're talking about Ohio State, running up against the 12th ranked team. I mean, that's the road to that you have to go down if you're a Missouri. If you're a smaller brand that's got a really good football program that's trying to get something done. And I think that, I look forward to that time. But I know it's the first ranking. And to your point, Ohio State and Michigan have losing to do. Absolutely, because they're going to face each other. One of them is going to lose. No question about it. It's going to happen. And we really get into the nitty-gritty when we talk about evaluating losses, right? So does Ohio State beating Michigan, what does that do? Well, it should do a lot because you had them 4th in the college football playoff, which tells me that you respect Michigan a ton, even with everything that's going on, which is incredible to me. And is a completely sidebar conversation, right? But ultimately, we'll see how this evolves. Can Nick Saban push up into the college football playoff? Can Texas get some reward for winning the Big 12 and making a statement?
It's funny you bring up Texas. Look at this strength of schedule chart. I think this is very telling. You look at Texas at 17th. Their average opponent rank is 52nd. You look at the top of the table, look at South Carolina at 2-6, 38th for their average rank. Purdue, look at Utah, 44th, number 3, which is how Utah is still in the conversation. But look right there at number 4. Alabama at 45 for your average opponent rank, right? And I think LSU, and this goes back to tell you about the Florida State ranking. LSU has the 7th strength of schedule in the country at 50. It tells you a lot about Colorado at the 12th spot in strength of schedule. Like, I think this right here paints the picture of why Florida State's at number 4 because of that LSU win. And I think it absolutely matters, and I think it absolutely should matter. And I think the College Football Playoff Committee largely got this right.
Yeah.
They largely got this right. And I say Ohio State being number 1, bless up, dude, because there was no chance that was going to happen. There was absolutely no chance that was going to happen.
God bless.
Right. Let's get you guys in here. What are your thoughts? Do you think the College Football Playoff Committee got it right? Shouty says Texas should be in the playoff. That's not even in doubt. When you are where they are, you're not even in doubt at number 7. You're in the College Football Playoff. They need to run the table. If Texas runs the table, they will be in the College Football Playoff. Because that, for instance, again, Michigan and Ohio State are probably going to play at least one more time. You know that for a fact. One of those teams is going to be out of the top 4. There's no doubt about that, right? You look at the talent that's in front. Oregon and Washington probably play again in the Pac-12 championship.
Yeah.
And if Oregon wins that game, Washington's out of the College Football Playoff. I mean, this league is really tough. I don't think there's any doubt Texas has got to get it. Texas has got to get in by winning games.
Absolutely.
Jeff Woodworth, Texas has a loss. Top 5 teams don't. Absolutely right.
Yeah, but those losses are coming.
But they also have a win, and that's at Bryant-Denny Stadium. If they win out, they're in. Bryce Martin, wow, Texas getting the snub. Texas did not get snubbed.
No.
Texas did not get snubbed. Again, I'm telling you, if you look at this top 25 right here, your snub, I could argue, is LSU. Your snub, I could argue, is Missouri. Your snub, I could argue very clearly, is Oklahoma at 9 and Texas at 7. That tells you strength of schedule matters, and that win at Bryant-Denny Stadium means more than Oklahoma's win, and perhaps it means more than Oklahoma's loss.
You see what I mean? So they're basically saying, hey, Texas basically won that game, and then Dylan Gabriel pulled it out of the hat. That's what the playoff committee is saying, that we believe Texas is a better team, and they got beat on the last play of the game, and that's just how the cookie crumbled. Now, hey, if you're an Oklahoma fan, you're pissed about it. I get it. But what I'm sitting here saying, as I agree with you, I don't think Texas got snubbed. I think the playoff committee send a clear message to teams like Texas. Hey, go out, go undefeated the rest of the year, win your conference, and you've got a great shot to get in because you know those teams at the top are going to lose.
How about Boo Corrigan, the College Football Playoff Committee chairman, saying that the Michigan scandals had no impact on their voting? Do you believe him?
I mean, I'm inclined to. They're in the top 4.
Yeah.
I mean, if they had an impact, they wouldn't be there at all.
Yeah,
And
it is.
It really bothers me, dude. I mean, I understand that if you're the committee, you can't just act on a whim. You need something concrete that says, hey, this happened. We have the evidence. It's all outlined. There's no more conjecture about if that was Buddy at Central Michigan or, if he, like, the committee, the College Football Playoff Committee can't take Michigan out without concrete, no doubt about it, evidence, case closed, checkmate type situation. So to me, I think you're going to see Michigan up in the top 4 until, obviously until they lose or until something happens with Jim Harbaugh. If Jim Harbaugh gets suspended, let's say like 3 weeks from now or something, then I think you take Michigan out of there. But until that happens, they're going to be there. And as much as I hate that, I don't think the committee has much choice.
All right, a couple more before we get out of here. Johnny Gonzalez, the canceling of UGA game killed OU strength of schedule. Could be. Jim Choi, I don't know how the committee put USC at 20 because they're 7-2. They're 7-2 with a really difficult schedule. Jim Choi, if Texas or Oklahoma win out, they're in.
Agreed.
OU, Tanner says, has worse loss than Texas. That's why they're ahead of OU. I don't think there's any doubt that Texas's win at Alabama and OU's loss at Kansas is why that is what it is. It just is what it is.
And by the way, I think Texas losing to Oklahoma is a better loss than
you are.
Yeah, like, come on, dude.
The Monty Show, as always, presented by our good friends at BuckedUp Energy, the official energy provider of the Monty Show. Gonna hit the music?
Yeah, sorry.
Gots to go, man.
My bad. Sorry.
Make sure you get the link for the free buck shots in the description below. Hook it up, BuckedUp.com. Until tomorrow, say goodbye, Jake.
Goodbye, Jake.